Tampa Stadium, temperature a cool 64 degrees by Florida standards, and the wind gusty for this afternoon's game. The Buccaneers will receive the opening kickoff, and the coaches, Chuck Knox, Rams, in the third year of his rebuilding program. On the hot seat, though, in L.A., as is Sam Weish, in the third year of his rebuilding program here with the Buccaneers. Tony Zendejas will be kicking it off. Vernon Turner inactive once again this week. Turner for the Buccaneers, one of the better return men in the league. He's inactive. Curtis Buckley, the very active special teamer for Tampa Bay, along with Charles Wilson, back deep to receive. Here's the opening kick, and it comes down to Wilson from his 5. Wilson met hard, knocked down at his own 22-yard line. Toby Wright on the tackle. Craig Erickson going to start at quarterback once again for the Buccaneers this week. Doesn't make the mistakes to kill you. In front of him on the offensive line, this group has been excellent of late. Gruber, McCray, Tony Mayberry at center, Ian Beckles and Scott Dill. The running backs, Eric Rhett and Anthony McDowell. The receivers, Lawrence Dawsey, Courtney Hawkins, and Ty J. Armstrong for the Buccaneers offense. They'll start 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line. Rhett, the deep man, in a single back formation with Dave Moore in motion. Play action. Erickson looking, avoids some pressure, and he'll go down for a short loss on the play. They'll call that a sack. Jimmy Jones will get credit for the sack as we look at that defensive line. Jones collecting his 5th sack of the year. Fred Stokes, Sean Gilbert, and Robert Young, the leading sacker among those linemen. Roman Pfeiffer, Shane Conlon, the leading tackler on the team, and Joe Kelly at the linebacking spots. And in the secondary, Todd Light, Anthony Newman, Marquez Pope, and Darrell Hindley. 2nd down and 11 for the Buccaneers in the power I formation. Erickson changing the play at the line of scrimmage. And the give is to Rhett. Rhett met right at the line. Joe Kelly, as you're going nowhere, buddy. And we might have a flag on the play.
Well, I think when you get 2nd and long, you like a positive play, and something that Craig Erickson has been very good at is the hard count. And I think he got the Rams there. I think it was Jones who jumped off sides, and he's done a very good job. You're going to see it.
Offsides by the defense, number 98.
Sometimes
5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
2nd long, it really is to the advantage of the offense. You don't want to go offside because you put yourself a little deeper, but if you can get them offside before you put yourself in a comfortable position for 2nd and medium.
Erickson said he hasn't mastered that hard count and drawn people offside yet, but he's been pretty good at it, according to some of the Rams defensive players that we talked to.
Yeah, they fell to it right then. So, you know, that's an advantage to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're going to have that front line thinking now.
2nd and 6 from the 26. A much better situation to operate from. 2nd and medium yardage for Craig Erickson in the Buccaneer offense. He's got 3 receivers in the game. And Erickson comes to the near side, and he has his man, Lamar Thomas. Lamar Thomas with the catch near 1st down yardage, forced out of bounds by Darrell Hindley, a pickup of 6 on the play.
Thomas is just going to come against Henley, and I think that Tampa Bay's just going to take what they're giving him right now. He's just come a little 5-yard speed out. It's kind of a timing route where Erickson has to get the ball and the receiver works together and do a nice job of getting themselves a 1st down.
We move guys
very close. They're going to come out and measure it.
Cleared in. That's your good.
Yeah, we got to do it over here, though.
The Buccaneers last week had an impressive opening march against Washington. But Erickson threw an interception, and they are, boy, what is that, Merrill?
It's a game of inches, right? That's a game of hairs right there. Boy,
an eighth of an inch short. 3rd down and an 1/8, we might call this one.
You know, and to be honest, I think Tampa Bay needs to do what they've done the last few weeks. I mean, they've used 2 tight ends. They've used Moore. Has done a great job in coming in motion and blocking. And I'd say stick right to that right now. Get a 2 tight end formation and give the ball to Rhett. Because this offensive line has done a great job in controlling the line of scrimmage and creating running scenes for Rhett.
3rd and a very short 1/8 of a yard to go for the Buccaneers. They'll be on their own 32-yard line. Opening drive of the game continues. Tampa Bay. And Erickson for the first down.
You know, this has been a pretty popular play with these guys. I mean, they've run a lot of quarterback sneaks. I know we don't have the statistic, but I bet you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers probably have run more quarterback sneaks with Erickson than any team in the National Football League.
Erickson is hopping around a little gingerly out there. He might have gotten dinged up a little bit on that play, but he stays in there, the tough guy that he is. And it'll be 1st and 10 from, call it, the 33-yard line. Dave Moore and Ty J. Armstrong in the double tight end set with Rhett the lone setback. And the give is to Rhett. Nice yardage as he cuts it back up the middle.
Boy, I'll tell you something. If we get to see this again, watch the trap by Dave Moore. I mean, Dave Moore did an outstanding job all week last week of blocking. But watch this trap. He's going to come in, and that's a defensive lineman that he's taken on. I mean, that's one of the best. Sean Gilbert, the best lineman in the league, and he just takes him right out. And then Errict Rhett, with his great vision and quick feet, explodes right through that hole for a 7-yard gain.
Happy birthday boy Errict Rhett is today. Turns 24, picks up 6 yards on that carry. And we have a 2nd and 4 for the Buccaneers at the 38-39-yard line. They give again to Rhett. Rhett another hole up the middle, and he struggles forward for what appears to be another first down. Todd Light in on the tackle, along with Roman Pfeiffer.
You know, the Rams defensive line has been banged up. You know, Jimmy Jones is coming back for his, you know, really for the first time being hurt last week. And I think they're going to test him. They're going to come at him and see if he's healthy enough to stop that. I mean, if you're going to look at this, they're going to go right off the right tackle. And this is something that really Tampa Bay has done great in the last 3 or 4 weeks, is getting that push with the offensive line, sending more in motion, and then letting Rhett just read the hole.
Vince Workman is coming to the game to give Errict Rhett a breather. Workman, the deep back. And the give is to Workman and a flea flicker. Incomplete as double coverage down there. He was looking for Anthony McDowell out of the backfield, but he was well covered in the secondary by the Rams.
Well, I tell you what, both the corners, nobody jumped on him. I mean, Pope done a great job in just staying on, I just want you right down here at the bottom, and the safety stayed deep too. That was very key. And he's just going to swing up out of the back there, kind of set, and then go up the seam. But the safety does a nice job in staying back to help both of them. It's still a nice ball throw, but it balls have to be absolutely perfect to make that play go.
Pope and Anthony Newman with good coverage on that play. Play clock winding down. They better hurry, and they do. And get the handoff off to Rhett, who goes off the right side and picks up maybe 3 yards on the play. He's taken down by Joe Kelly.
You know, Rhett had 40 carries last week, and you kind of, when you've had 40 carries and you've ran a kid really hard for a week before you come back to him, and you kind of see what kind of stability he has, and can he carry 20 or 30 times the following week? That's really the measure that this kid has got to see today, but he has stepped up in every aspect you can imagine for a running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
3rd and 8 from the 45. Mazio Royster is checked into the game. Rams looking for a call. They don't get one. Erickson stepping up and throwing to the far side off the hands of Horace Copeland. Incomplete. Todd Light on the coverage. That'll be 4th down. And the Buccaneers will be forced to punt. Dan Straczynski will come in. He's one of the best at getting it high and getting his coverage underneath it. 15 of his 57 punts have been returned. That's the lowest percentage in the NFL. Todd Kenshin will be back deep to receive for the Rams.
Get rid of him, get rid of him.
High kick, and Kenshin calls for the fair catch and brings it in at about his 20-yard line. And then now some extracurricular activity after the play. Looks like a fight broke out at about the 30-yard line of the Rams. Officials get in there to break it up. No score. 10:20 to go in the first quarter between the Rams and Buccaneers.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. By Heineken, the #1 selling imported beer. Heineken, just being the best is enough. By Subway, the place where fresh is the taste. And by DirecTV, introducing personalized TV.
Tampa Stadium, where the Rams open 1st and 10 from their own 21. Chris Chandler, the starting quarterback, hands it to Jerome. Bettis, who meets nothing but white shirts behind the line of scrimmage. Chidi Hanatu and Mark Wheeler in on the stop. Rams offense now. First, Chris Chandler making his 5th start of the season, the 7th-year veteran. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The line in front of him. Clarence Jones, the only one who's played every game this year. Tom Newberry, Bernd Brostek is the center. Leo Goaz and Wayne Gandy, the rookie. The backs and receivers, Bettis, Howard Griffith, Willie Anderson, Jesse Hester, and Troy Drayton. Loss of 3 there, 2nd and 13. Chandler quickly over the middle to his tight end, Troy Drayton. 9 yards on the play. That'll set up a 3rd and 4. Buccaneer defense, take a look at that. Eric Curry, Brad Culpepper, Mark Wheeler, and Chidi Hanatu. A much improved defensive line. Linebackers anchored by Nickerson in the middle, Bussey and Lonnie Martz on the outside. In the secondary, Charles Dimry, Thomas Everett, Marty Carter, and Martin Mayhew. Pickup of 9 yards on that last pass play to Drayton. 3rd and 4 for the Rams. Johnny Bailey caught 11 passes last week. He's in the ball game. Chandler back, throws outside, and is knocked out of the hands of the wide receiver, Chris Brantley. Charles Dimry.
You have some good defensive on Buccaneers here. I mean, this defense is coming out. I mean, they've pretty much done everything. The defensive line has created penetration, made it tough for the run. And I think if the defensive line could do this, that'll allow Tampa Bay to stay out of the 8-man fronts. If they feel they can control Jerome Bettis with 7 men, that's what they would like to do.
Sean Landeta. 20 punts inside the 20-yard line so far this year. He kicks them long, and Courtney Hawkins back deep to receive it for the Buccaneers. A low kick as Hawkins fields it at about his 22. Gets just across the 30-yard line before he's brought down. 52-yard punt and an 8-yard return. The Buccaneers get the ball back. We're still scoreless at Tampa Stadium. 8:39 to go in the 1st quarter. Both offenses have had one opportunity, neither able to generate much. And the Buccaneers get the ball back with 8:39 to go in the 1st quarter. A scoreless ball game against the Rams. Greg Erickson leading his troops out. Last week, 18 out of 35, 251 yards. One of those 2 interceptions, a big one, returned by Andre Collins, 92 yards for a touchdown to get him behind, but they came back to beat Washington last week. And they used Errict in doing that, and they used Rhett this time off the left side, and he has good yardage.
I'll tell you something. I mean, see Eric Rhett, he's talking a little bit. That's what they talk about Eric Rhett. He said he talks all the time. He said sometimes the offensive linemen say, listen, well, Moore has done an outstanding job for these guys really stepping up. They're going to run a counter here where Moore comes in motion, and he's just going to lead Eric Rhett. He comes around and watch the block by Moore. Moore does a nice job blocking him out, and then Rhett does a nice job in using his vision and getting positive yards. This kid, it's his birthday today, and I think a little over 100 yards would be a great birthday present for this guy.
He picked up 7 that time, so we have 2nd and 3, and Erickson may have drawn him off again. They'll kick the Rhett up the middle. More big yardage. Well out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. A pickup of 10 more for Eric Rhett.
And Eric Rhett's telling him right now how he's feeling. I mean, sometimes the offensive linemen, I was talking about this a little earlier, they say, hey, listen, don't get my guy mad at me. He goes, I got to block that guy next. But I'll tell you something, this is something that Tampa Bay has done for the last few weeks. I mean, they get the offensive line gets pushed. It gets that defensive line going in one way, and then Rhett just gives a little time, and then he hits the hole. This is a nice, pretty scene right here. And that's Eric just doing his job, watching the hole and then hitting it. He's really got a good feel for this offense.
Sure does. 1st down for the Buccaneers at the 47-yard line. I formation. And Erickson appears to be changing the play at the line of scrimmage. To give again to Rhett, who breaks it outside. Rhett across the 50 and into Ram territory at the 48-yard line before he's brought down by Todd Light. pick up a 5 yards on that play.
Boy, I'd say, right, he really has a little bit of everything. He did a nice job in just setting it up there. And what I mean set it up is he sucks everybody in, and then he has enough agility that he can get outside. I mean, this is just a little draw effect. I mean, watch the offensive line. They do a nice job. But Errict helps him by setting a little bit and then bouncing outside. And he's got enough speed to get around the corner. A little shake and bake there. Get a few extra yards.
2nd and 5. At the Ram 48-yard line behind Rhett, the Buccaneers on the move. Rhett, Tampa Bay rookie record, 192 yards on 40 carries last week against the Redskins, and Erickson may have done it again. Throwing him offside. The give goes to Anthony McDowell, the fullback, and McDowell brought down by Gilbert and Conlon. Still fighting for extra yardage as we do have a flag down on the play.
Well, if this is against the Rams, I mean, and I think Sean Gilbert jumped off sides, but really this falls into the advantage for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the defensive line of the Rams, first of all, is one of the best defensive lines in the game. But if you already have them early in the game thinking about the snap count, worried about the snap count, you really have an advantage there. That's where you can come off the football, and both in the run game and in the pass game.
All right, we'll wait for the... It is offside, and we'll wait to see if the Buccaneers...
Offside by the defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
So the 5-yard penalty will leave them just short of the 1st down, so it'll be 2nd and very short yardage for the Buccaneers as they replay it.
And you know, you can see them talking there. They're like, you know, he's got us 2 or 3 times now, but we've got to. And when defensive players start thinking about the snap count, worrying about the snap count, then they don't get to play and just relax and follow in the schemes and things they've been working all week.
I guess the old statement of just watch the ball if you don't know the count is easier said than done. Huh?
You know what? Yeah, it is easier said than done. I mean, that's simply think, well, just watch the ball and when it moves, go. But boy, these guys want to get off on the football, and that little edge always helps. And you're trying to, you know, time the snap count.
2nd down and 1 for the Buccaneers, and the give again to Rhett, who cuts it back to the near side, but he is met by Marquez Pope, who streaked up from his safety position to make the stop.
Boy, and watching Pope, he is one of the safeties in this league that'll come up and hit you. And I really believe that he's going to have to be a factor in stopping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going to have to come up and make plays. Watch the bottom of the screen. He's just going to come, and he kind of reads Rhett. When Rhett's making his play back, there he is to hit him and make the play. And he's going to be a factor in stopping this running game if the Rams are to do it.
But Rhett, one thing they say about him is he always falls forward. He must have fallen forward enough there to get the 1st down, because it's 1st down Buccaneers on the Los Angeles Ram 42-yard line. As 3 wide receivers are out now for the Bucs. And the give again to Rhett. Room on the outside, but a good tackle. Darrell Henley comes up to take his legs out from under him. It looked like he might have had bigger yardage. Instead, he picks up close to 5 on the play.
Yeah, Darrell Henley saved a big run there. I mean, he tripped Eric Rhett up. Had he not, Eric Rhett would have made the corner. And I think that it may have been Pope that was good. The guy would have had to stop him. But watch Henley. Henley reads off. Then he reacts to the run and then does a nice job at taking Rhett's legs out from under him. Or Rhett might have gone up the sideline for 5 or 10 more yards.
Rhett already with 40 yards on 8 carries today. Sets up a 2nd down and 5 for the Buccaneers. Rhett again the lone setback. At the Ram 38-yard line. Rhett again straight up the middle is met by Sean Gilbert and a host of other Rams after he picks up about 3.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting is Dave Moore's been really successful in motioning and running around the ends with Eric Rhett. And they've kind of put a little wrinkle off this as they're using Moore to trap now and stay between the tackles. This is smart coaching by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I'm sure that they know the Rams have seen the last couple weeks, know that they're going to be prepared to stop those outside runs. And it's just a little wrinkle off that to give the Rams to have something else that they're going to have to work on.
3 wide receivers in for the Bucs on 3rd and 2. Lamar Thomas and Horace Copeland both enter the game. And Erickson, with the play clock running down, has to call a timeout. With the Bucs on the move, we'll take this timeout. No score here in Tampa. Back at Tampa Stadium, no score, but the Buccaneers on the move at the Rams 34-yard line, and a 3rd down and 2. Wide receiver Courtney Hawkins sprained a ligament in his left knee. He will not return for this game, so 87 Lamar Thomas will be seeing a lot of action. stop.
Well, that was a nice job by the defense. I mean, everybody talking to, you know, when you talked to Shane Conlon yesterday, he said, you know, the defensive line is going to have to get gaps and create penetration. And that is going to allow us linebackers to hit the gaps and get in the backfield. And they did a nice job right there. Roman Pfeiffer did a nice job of getting through the gap and stopping Rhett.
So Dan Straczynski will be back to punt. Todd Kinchin back deep to receive for the Rams, who hold again on the Buccaneers' second offensive possession of the game.
Get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him.
Straczynski angling it, but it'll land in the end zone. That'll be a touchback. And still scoreless from Tampa Stadium late in the first quarter. There is no score between the Bucs and Rams. Late in the first quarter, still no score between the Rams and Buccaneers. The defenses have come through, but the Rams on offense have had trouble really for most of the year getting some continuity because of injuries to the offensive line, Merrill. Chandler leads them out 1st and 10 from the Rams 20. Jerome Bettis, not much room up the middle, met by a host of Buccaneers, including Mark Wheeler in on the stop. And some...
Thomas Everett saying he got a touchdown there. The ball must have come out somewhere. And now one official is saying yes, the ball came out, but I guess they're going to call Thomas Everett down.
I think Hardy Nickerson's a little excited doing his Hulk Hogan impersonation, but there was a fumble somewhere in there. The Buccaneers recover. And Chuck Knox trying to understand it all.
Yeah, and I think the turnover ratio has been really a factor for the Rams. And when in the games they've won, you know, they haven't turned it over. And that's really the same scenario and same story that goes with any team. If you don't turn the ball over, you give yourself a chance to win. Once you turn it over, especially when you turn it over down here. I mean, it's just a pileup, and I mean, the ball must have come out. I mean, those pileups look very simple and easy, but there's a lot of collisions that go on there. Watch Thomas Everett, and he comes up with the ball. He's off to the races, but they called him down at the 20.
Sam Wyche's defense, especially the line, has really stepped it up the last few weeks. Eric Curry forced the fumble. Now the Bucs take over in great territory at the 21-yard line of the Rams, 1st and 10. Erickson, the play action. Rhett still holds on, throws it into the end zone, and overthrows his man in the left corner. Anthony McDowell was the intended receiver, covered by Todd Light.
Well, then let's run a little play action fake here with the boot, and I think Ty J's supposed to get out. I just don't think he does. Or the Rams do a nice job in covering all of the deep routes, and then he throws it back across the field where he's really not in the open. I think maybe just tried to throw that one deep, and hopefully it went away, or only McDowell would have a chance to catch that one.
Erickson told us the other day he's still working on his play action faking ability and that hard count that we've been talking about today. 2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line. Again, a dual tight end set up for the Buccaneers as McDowell goes in motion, and the give to Rhett. Rhett, some nifty footwork, gets him inside the 20 to the 17. Joe Kelly on the tackle.
That's one thing they talk about Rhett is his always falling forward and getting positive yards. I mean, the Rams were in the backfield there, and they caused him to have to make some moves that he's really good at and getting some positive yards. And to get a couple yards out of that where he probably should have got a 2-yard loss is what makes him valuable. You know, the thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have struggled is when they do get the ball, they don't really turn it into points. Now, the last few weeks, they've been turning it into points. But this is the thing they have struggled with all year, is getting points on turnovers.
3rd and 8 from the 18. Mazio Royster checks in for the Buccaneers as Erickson from the shotgun. Throws it a little bit high and off the hands of Lamar Thomas, incomplete. So that'll probably bring the field goal unit on. Robert Bailey was in on the coverage there. And Michael Husted will probably come on and attempt the field goal.
Yeah, and this is not what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want. They don't want to kick field goals. I mean, they've struggled with this all year, and only to get 2 yards when you get the ball on the 20. The offense needs to create momentum here. You need to get touchdowns. Field goals, I mean, they're already in position. The defense is already given a position to get a field goal when you get the ball on the 20. You need to get a touchdown when you get the ball on the 20.
And Michael Husted perfect from inside the 40 this season. The Kick this one from 36, and it is blocked. Blocked at the line of scrimmage, and the Rams hold. Blocked by Toby Wright, who came rushing in there to get his hands up and knock the kick back down. So the Buccaneers held off the scoreboard.
I mean, he's a little guy, but he came right through the line. He looked like he was untouched. I mean, he did a nice, boy, he just dove over it. I mean, what a great play. I mean, he extended himself and got up in the air. And those are hard field goals to block there because they're so close. Yeah.
Chuck Knox pretty happy about it. Kind of a low-key guy, but not on that play.
No, because he knows that that's very important, because to make that turnover into 0 points now is positive for the Rams.
And the Rams take it back on their own 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Bettis and Howard Griffith behind Chris Chandler. Chandler on the play fake and rollout. Dumps it, but a little bit high for Griffith. Almost intercepted as Thomas Everett came up from his free safety position.
Yeah.
Right now for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studios. JB?
All right, Eric. Buffalo trying to stay alive in the playoff race. Jim Kelly picking up where he left off last week. 200th career touchdown pass. This one to Pete Metzelaars, and the Buffalo Bills lead it by 4. Back to Eric Clemons and Merrill Hoge.
All right, JB, the Rams getting their first block of a field goal since 1988. 2nd and 10 from their own 28-yard line, and Chandler to give to Jerome Bettis. And Bettis off the left side is met hard. Hardy Nickerson, the leading tackler on this Buccaneer defense, came up big on that one.
Boy, Hardy plays with a lot of enthusiasm. I played with Hardy in Pittsburgh, and I'll tell you what, this guy is a tremendous leader, along with being a tremendous linebacker. Watch Hardy Nickerson. I mean, he's just going to sit there and read Jerome, and then he gets under Jerome's pads. And I'll tell you what, when you're playing this game, the leverage is so key. I mean, all these guys are big and powerful, but the guy who can create the leverage is going to win.
Nickerson, 98 tackles coming into this one. 2-yard gain by Bettis sets up a 3rd down and 8, and Chandler calling the signals from the shotgun. Buys some time and throws it out to the near side, and Todd Kinchin on the reception. He is driven out of bounds by a host of Buccaneers, including Roderick Green, but it's a 1st down Rams.
I want you to watch Todd Kinchin. He does a nice job in coming back to the football. He's the inside receiver here. Now he's going to come up. He's going to run his route, and he actually falls down. But he does a nice job of getting up, finding eye contact with the quarterback, and then coming back for the football. And then Chandler does a nice job in getting the football. That's a 1st down, and that keeps the drive going. You know, really, he has a nice protection here. You know, this offensive line has struggled, but they do a nice job of protecting for him there.
1st and 10 from the 38, and Chandler back to throw again. He is hit as he releases it, and it falls harmlessly incomplete out to the left side. He was hit by Eric Curry, who put on great pressure that time.
But Eric Curry has really stepped up his game. I think when Sam Weiss did walk into the defensive line meeting and he challenged these guys, I think here's a guy who responded to it. I mean, he comes, gets inside rush, and actually he's double teamed, and then all of a sudden they just come off him, and he's right there in Chandler's face.
Curry in his 2nd year out of Alabama, and that big P word has always been attached to him. And we have a penalty called against the Buccaneers. Charles Dimry, illegal contact on the play.
Well, you know, they have that new rule. I mean, the pass interference thing has been called really closely this year. And, you know, after the 5 yards, they're being real sticklers. If you're going to jam somebody or touch somebody, they're going to drop the flag on you this year.
So that'll be an automatic 1st down for the Rams, and the march continues from the LA 45-yard line. And the Tampa Bay fans here don't like it one bit, but it is 1st and 10 for the Rams. Throws over the middle, caught and dropped by Troy Drayton, his tight end.
Well, that was just in and out of the hands. I mean, that was a nice throw by Chandler. And Troy does a nice job of getting open. I think he just jumped, and that little jump took him off of his timing there, and he dropped it. But he's got nice protection. And the safety, he throws a nice ball and getting that in there. I think that he kind of felt the pressure from the underneath and over top, and You know, those can be little alligator arms when you get situations like that.
Second down and 10. I formation for the Rams at their own 45-yard line. The pitch goes back to Bettis. Breaks a tackle and struggles forward.
Boy, I tell you, for a big guy, he has a lot of nice moves, but then he has a tremendous amount of power. I mean, I've already watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're hinting and flirting with 8-man fronts right now because they have great respect for this guy. But I think maybe a way to get Jerome Bettis going is pitch the ball. Get it outside. Don't stay in between those tackles. Loosen that defense up with the run.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The LA Rams nothing and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Back at Tampa Stadium, and you see the standings in the NFC Central. Minnesota and Chicago, both with 8-5 records. The Bears right now losing 7-3 to Green Bay. Green Bay a must-win situation. They're in at 6-7, and Minnesota leading Buffalo right now. And that sets up next Saturday's showdown. Don't forget, 12 noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. Start your day with the Fox NFL special. JB, Terry, Jimmy, and Howie. That's up on that big Vikings-Lions affair. And as the pass completion by Chandler, Hester caught it. Did he fumble? What's the ruling? The referees, the officials saying incomplete. Incomplete.
Yeah, he never even had control of the football. Just kind of hit him in the arms and it fell out. I think a lot of these crossing routes are nice. Chandler does a nice job in just finding him. I think a guy that has really been beneficial for these guys has been Johnny Bailey. But he takes off with Johnny Bailey, then he sees just come across and he hits him ball. He just dropped it. He didn't even get a hold of it, get his hands on it.
So the Rams will be forced to punt. Jesse Hester could not hold on to it and is upset about it. Sean Landetta kicking back deep to Thomas Everett. And Vince Workman back deep to receive the punt. Vernon Turner once again inactive today. One of the better returners in the NFC. So Landetta will put it up from his own 40. High kick angled for the near corner, but lands into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. 48-yard punt, no return. Still scoreless from Tampa Stadium between the Buccaneers and the Rams.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Lexus, maker of the faster and roomier 1995 LS400. By Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. By the Citizen Watch Company. Citizen is how the world tells time.
The defenses have been in control so far today as the Buccaneers and Rams scoreless early in the second quarter. 14:46 to go. As Craig Erickson leads his team out in the I formation. Look at the time of possession. Buccaneers have really controlled it, but so far still no score. Erickson buying some time. Now he'll keep it and run with it. And he gets about 3 yards as he slides to safety at the 23-yard line. Shane Conlon was there just in case he didn't. Tonight, celebrate the spirit of the season with a Yuletide tradition. Ring in the holidays with the original Simpsons Christmas special, part of a full hour starting at 8, 7 Central, followed by a brand new Married with Children. That's tonight on Fox. 2nd and 8 for the Buccaneers on their own 22-yard line. McDowell comes in motion in the give to Eric Rhett. Picks a hole and gets out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Right now for McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studios. JB?
All right, Eric. Craig Erickson leading the charge there. Brett Favre leading the charge in Green Bay on a play in the first quarter. He finds Robert Brooks in the pay dirt. The Packers leading in the second quarter by 4. Let's take it back to Tampa Bay. Eric Clemons and Merrill Hoge.
All right, JB, thank you very much. 3rd and 4 at the 26-yard line for the Buccaneers. Dual tight end set with Rhett, the single back. And Erickson looking to throw. And he has this man who breaks tackles on the near side. Charles Wilson to the 40. One man to beat. All the way first man to beat, 54 yards on the play.
Well, that's it. Darrell Henley had him covered perfectly. Erickson just threw it up over his head. And then it was a great, I mean, unbelievable. Amazing. I mean, watch this. I mean, Erickson has a lot of pressure on him, too. I mean, he's going to take a nice pop here at the end. Takes a nice hit actually towards the head. He just throws over Darrell Henley's head. And then Wilson makes a nice job and concentrate on it and catching it. And then I think there was a personal foul on him as it went to the head and grabbed the face mask. You know, sometimes as quarterbacks, you know, you throw it to. Actually, he talks about Lawrence Dossie as a guy who, if he's covered, he's going to throw him the ball no matter what. Wilson might be a guy he throws to now, no matter if he's covered or not. I want you to watch I talked about the hit Erickson took, but watch this. When he lets the ball go, I mean, he takes a nice shot to the head there.
Sean Gilbert leveled him, but he got the pass off, and Charles Wilson did the rest, breaking a couple tackles, picking up 54 yards on the play. Buccaneers in business in the red zone. 1st and 10, just outside the 10-yard line. Rhett hit immediately as he got the ball. Marquez Pope streaking in from that strong safety position to make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
And I think the Rams are going to have to do this. They're going to have to step 8 men up there. And Marcus Pope, I mean, I've been very impressed with him. Watch the top of the screen. I mean, he's just going to come in untouched because he's the 8th guy. They don't have enough guys to account for him. And he's got to make those plays. If they're going to put him in those positions, he's got to make those plays. And that's a 3 or 4 yard loss for them. It's a nice job by Marcus.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13 at the 14. Tampa Bay controlling yardage as well, but still no score. 2nd and 13 from the 14. Erickson with Rhett as single back. Erickson's pass for Dave Moore is a little bit high and incomplete. Roman Pfeiffer was there for the coverage.
I think that just got out of his hands a little bit. But he had him open. I mean, if he could have got it to where he could have ran with the ball, they could have got a positive play out of that.
And Rams told us they expected the Buccaneers to attack a lot underneath in this ball game, and that's what they did, at least on that one.
Yeah, and I think that when you get down here, it kind of seems like the Buccaneers get a little tight. Erickson has talked about this and said, you know what, we're trying to mature, but these are the things we've got to mature quickly at. When we get down here, we've got to put touchdowns on the board.
3rd and 13 for Erickson and the Buccaneer offense. Again, forced to burn a timeout. Still scoreless here in Tampa Stadium between the Rams and Buccaneers.
I want you to watch Erickson right here. I mean, he's going to direct some traffic, but watch the Rams. They're as confused as Erickson is. They're trying to get in the right position, and then Erickson, he's going to direct his backs and say, okay, you take him, and he's going to put back to Rhett. Okay, you take him. Now they switch it. Now Erickson's already given direction, so doesn't have enough time. He's got to give call a timeout so he can get that straight. When you're down here, you don't want to blow a protection.
Buccaneers with only 1 timeout left with 12:02 to go in the first half. And a key 3rd down play here. 3rd and 13 from the Los Angeles 14-yard line as Erickson shifts back to the shotgun. And he goes over the middle and has a man open at about the 2 before he's forced back.
Boy, what a shot that was. And that was on a rope. But you know what? The offensive line is holding out a great defensive line. They gave Erickson enough time to run those deep routes. I don't think it was enough for the first down. And they're going to have to settle for a field goal. And really, you got to credit the Rams here on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, and holding them out of the end zone again.
Erickson found his go-to guy that he likes to look for in those situations. Lawrence Dossie on the catch, but it was about a yard and a half short of the first down. That'll set up Michael Hustad's 2nd attempt of the game. This one will be from 20 yards. His first attempt in the first quarter was blocked by the Rams defense. This one straight through. It is good. No flags down. The Buccaneers draw first blood. They get on the board. They lead 3-0 as we're still in the second quarter. The Buccaneers a 3-0 lead. 7 plays, 78-yard march. 3 minutes, 33 seconds ends in Michael Hustad's 20-yard field goal. And Hustad set up at his own 30 to kick it off to David Lang and Todd Kinchin, who are back deep to receive for the Rams. High, short kick. It'll come down Well, no, he won't. Pinchon lets it go back in the end zone where he'll down it. And the Rams will take over on the touchback, 1st and 10 at their own 20. Now time for our Aflac trivia question for today. What year did the Rams win the NFC Championship game, and who did they defeat? We'll have the answer for you a little later on.
You know what? That last drive, I mean, I know it's so close. When you stand up here in the booth or watching TV or the stands, you say, well, why didn't they go for it? In struggling already on the 20-yard line, getting a field goal block, you need points. And I think that was a good call by Sam in order to go for the field goal and get some points on the board.
Chris Chandler, familiar with Tampa Stadium, played here in 90 and part of 91, gives to his fullback Griffith on the play. Griffith struggles forward for 4 yards out to the 24-yard line.
And, you know, I think that, you know, Griffith doesn't get the ball a lot. You know, he's primarily a blocker. But I think, you know, if you incorporate the fullback in your offense, you keep defenses honest, and then you take some pressure off of that halfback, you know, and you allow, you know, that defense to be watching both backs versus just Jerome. And that Griffith is just not a blocker, and he can be a weapon as far as run the ball.
And sets up 2nd down and 6 at the Los Angeles 24-yard line. That's Chris Chandler. Calls the signals. And the swing pass out of the backfield intended for Bettis is a little bit short, but he was under some pressure.
Yeah, I think Brad Culpepper hit his arm as he was coming through. He wasn't allowed to follow through there. And the defensive line, I mean, again, they have really stepped up. You know, Hardy Nickerson talked about these guys. He said, you know what, he has made my job easier. Plays like this, Brad Culpepper. I mean, Brad Culpepper is just going to fight and fight and fight and inch his way back there. And then when Chris Chandler has to turn to throw it, he doesn't allow Chris Chandler to follow through because of the penetration he's already received.
3rd and 6 from the Ram 24. 4 wide receivers in for Los Angeles. And Chandler back to throw again. A wobbler down the middle of the field is almost caught by Flipper Anderson. But back in there on coverage was Mike Magruder along with Thomas Everett. It's incomplete, and the Rams will once again be forced to punt.
Yeah, you know what? When we talked to Chris Chandler yesterday, I asked him, I said, you know what, is it hard not to be playing and then come in? And he said, early in my career, it was hard, but it's not as hard now. But you can tell he's not real comfortable right now, and he doesn't have a good flow going.
Sean Landetta into punt, and Thomas Everett is back deep to receive for the Buccaneers. Landetta standing back on his 10-yard line. On the line drive kick, and Everett receives it at his 35, comes up to the 40, and struggles forward to about the 42-yard line, where the Buccaneers will take over. 41-yard punt, a 7-yard return, and we have another penalty flag down.
You know, I play with Thomas Everett, and I kind of laugh at this. This is one thing that Thomas Everett in Pittsburgh did not want to do. And they got him back there returning punts. He's been hiding his secret talent all his career.
Pro Bowler is quite a leader, too. He's been playing with some dings and bruises, but he volunteers to return punts despite it all.
Well, Thomas Everett is, you're right, exactly. He's a tough cookie, and he's a great player. I mean, this guy will come up and hit you. I have a few bruises from just practice from this guy.
And he told us a little bit earlier this week as we get the call.
By the receiving team, number 87, there was a post-possession foul during the punt, so it's enforced from the end of the punt, 10 yards, 1st down.
Now, see, Thomas Everett's going to be mad at that. That's going to take away his yardage on punt returns.
Lamar Thomas guilty of the holding on that play. Tampa Bay with a 3-0 lead as we continue play here in the 2nd quarter. Ten minutes to go, 2nd quarter, with the Buccaneers leading the Rams 3-0. Buccaneers about to take the ball on their own 26-yard line.
Well, that's a big sign right there. Take a little bit to read that.
1st down for the Buccaneers with the 2 tight ends set once again, and Rhett, the lone setback, who gets the ball. Now, time to give you that answer to our Aflac trivia question. Here's the question again. What year did the Rams win the NFC Championship game, and who did they defeat? Our answer? Well, January 6, 1979, they defeated these Tampa Bay Buccaneers 9-0 here at Tampa Stadium. Went on to the Super Bowl that year only to lose to Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers. 3-yard gain for Errict. Rhett 2nd and 7 on the 29-yard line. Rhett again the lone setback behind Craig Erickson. Erickson off the play fake. Looks deep. Has a man down the middle, and again it's Charles Wilson. Wilson one man to beat. Wilson scores! 71 yards.
Well, I'll tell you something. Sometimes when people get hurt, other people have to step up. And Wilson has stepped up. I mean, that was not only a good pass by Erickson to get him the ball, but then that's a great individual effort by Wilson to get in the end zone and break a few tackles. Watch this from the end zone. They run a play-action fake, and that abides Erickson a little more time. Then he just sets up and lets him get between the safeties and then puts the ball right where it needs to be. Wilson has to wait on it a little bit, but then he does a nice job of avoiding tacklers and breaking tackles and then getting it in the end zone. Boy, outstanding effort by Wilson. A terrific job.
And the Buccaneers get it all with a couple of plays as Michael Husted sets up for the extra point. It's good. And so off the longest completion of Craig Erickson's career, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go out to a 10-0 lead over the Los Angeles Rams.
I want you to watch Wilson. Watch him right up here at the top. I mean, he's going to come up here, delay a little bit, and then he's going to hit the seam. And the safety, he kind of gets caught underneath, and that creates that gap there. And then Erickson does a nice job in putting the ball, first of all, so it doesn't lead him too far over to the other safety. And then it's all Wilson after that. Now tell me that young man isn't happy. That's right. Number ones are flying high in the air now. You got a chance to go 3-0 down here.
A two-play, 74-yard drive.
You know, the Rams, they didn't do a very good job tackling there either. But you got to give Wilson the credit there, and he did a nice job in breaking those tackles and making a nice run out of it.
Wilson with 2 big catch-and-runs on the day.
He's over there telling Dilfer, he said, hey, listen, those kind of plays I want to be making when you're out there, too.
And the fans here at Tampa have a bit to celebrate. Here with 9:04 to go in the second quarter, a 10-0 lead as David Lang and Todd Kenshin stand back deep to receive the kickoff from Michael Husted.
Now, it's interesting to see how the Rams respond to this. I mean, the season for them hasn't been going well, but can they rebound for it?
Lang takes it at about his 4. Gets it up at the 23 before he is brought to a screeching halt.
Yeah, you even got helmets knocked off on there. I mean, these Buccaneers, they're fired up.
And guess who on the tackle at the bottom of the pile was Curtis Buckley. And Demetrius Dubose was also in on that play.
Yeah, he's not going to let that fine interfere with how he's going to play. And I think that's good because I think the thing he got fined for last week was uncalled for. It was a very clean shot. Even the Redskins felt it was clean. And this kid's going to continue to play aggressive. And it was an aggressive play last week. And I'd like to see him continue to play aggressive.
Here's Buckley, who does a lot of talking on the field. The Buccaneers as a team do a bit of talking, and the Rams were talking back that time. We'll see how they respond down 10-0 with the ball 1st and 10 on their own 23-yard line. Chandler with the give to Bettis. Barney Bussey, the first man to greet him, along with several other Buccaneers, and a flag goes down on that play as we've had some extracurricular activity after a few plays so far in this contest, and we're not even halfway through yet, Merrill.
Yeah, that flag may be for talking too much. I think the officials want to calm things down a little bit, but I'll tell you something, that you have an aggressive Tampa Bay team. I mean, Bettis has 5 carries for 8 yards. But, I mean, they're just getting penetration. Jerome has no place to go. He makes a nice move initially.
Personal foul.
There's another way to
unnecessary
tackle.
roughness by the defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Marty Carter called
Watch
for
Marty Carter. I mean, he's going to come in here and we can see what happened. I mean, sometimes you get excited, you get a little more aggressive. He just gets up on the pile, and then he gives that little extra shove right there is what they call. I mean, once the pile's stopped, I mean, you've got to stop at the whistle and get off, even though you run with a lot of emotion and then those engines are going. You got to be able to stop them off quick.
So that negates a good defensive surge against Bettis on that play by the Buccaneer line and creates a first down for the Rams at their 39-yard line. And the give again goes to Bettis. It gets at the 40 before he's met again by a host of orange and white shirts.
Boy, I tell you what, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing good team defense. And I feel for Jerome Bettis right now. The entire Rams, I mean, Tampa Bay is just playing at a higher tempo than the Rams are playing right now. Watch Nickerson. I mean, and here's a guy, too. When Hardy Nickerson gets active, I mean, he does a nice job in taking on the blocker and allowing his teammates when they fill every gap, and then they allow the second wave to come in and make the play.
Hardy Nickerson came into this game with 98 tackles, sets up a 2nd and 8 for the Rams at their 41. Chandler off play action and has a man on the right side. That's Flipper Anderson with the reception. That'll be good for a first down. Gain of 11 on the play.
You know, I think if the Rams are going to get back into this, they want some confidence. Here's a guy, a veteran and a big play guy. And talking to the coaches and Chick Harris, the offensive coordinator, you know, he said Flipper Anderson has stepped up every week, made big plays, and really given this offense the kind of boost it needs in crucial times like this.
First down for the Rams as they cross into Buccaneer territory at the Tampa Bay 48. Chandler with Griffith and Bettis out of the eye. Bettis off the pitch, far side, good yardage. And Bettis gets down near the first down marker after a pickup of about 9.
Boy, was that a hit by Barney Bussey on Jerome Bettis. I know they both felt that one. Wow, watch the end zone here. And this is what I think they need to do with Jerome. They need to pitch him the ball and let him get outside. They're not getting anything between the tackles. Let him go out there, let him get a feel for it, and then let him be the runner that he is. And watch this hit, bang. Wow. That's where you both say, wow, you all right?
And he's a load to bring down, 243 pounds, and he says he likes to dish punishment out to his tacklers. 7 rushes for 19 yards. Is that 11-yard or 9-yard carry helped him get his average up? And Bettis again up the middle, spins forward for first down yardage.
You know, something that's very interesting about Jerome is, you know, he was a fullback in Notre Dame, and when you're in that 3-point stance 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, there's a different mentality as a runner than when you line up 8 yards deep in a halfback stance and a 2-point stance. And, you know, I asked him yesterday, I go, was that difficult for you? He said, yeah, I had to learn how to run as a halfback in that I had to let things develop a little more, make some moves, and then put the punishment on. When I was a fullback, he goes, as soon as I got the ball, I just wanted to put punishment on people.
First down for the Rams at the Tampa Bay 38. Chandler off play action. Goes and has a man open. Flipper Anderson again down to the 23. 14 yards on that play.
Erickson making the tackle.
Now watch Flipper Anderson here. He's doing it at the bottom of the screen right here. Now he's just going to come off and he's going to sit down in the zone. And then Chandler's going to hit him right on Dimry. And he sets it up and then he slips. And the field is really wet down there. And people, I think that's the advantage of the offensive player. And you can see it right there where Flipper knows where he's going. He sits down and the defensive player reacts and slips.
Chuck Knox urging his team on to come back from a 10-point deficit. Santana Dotson in the game for the Tampa Bay defense. As Chandler goes back to pass again. Has some time. Goes in zone. Troy Drayton with the catch and a touchdown.
Boy, what an outstanding catch by Troy Drayton, because Chandler threw that on the other shoulder, and to turn and make that catch for a big tight end, that's very impressive.
Chuck Knox says that's the way to go, boys, to come back from that 10-0 deficit. And an impressive march capped by an impressive play. 22-yard pass from Chandler to Troy Drayton, who always wants the ball.
Yeah, and I tell you something, you can size up your team a little bit. I mean, you haven't won a lot of games. You're down 10-0. You're on the road. And then you respond like this. I mean, Chuck Knox has got to be very impressed with his team.
Tony Zendejas in to attempt the extra point. Hit straight through. 7 plays, 77-yard march. And 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the drive as the Rams come back impressively.
Now watch Dayton right here. And he's just going to release, and then the linebacker's going to pick him up. He's just going to release out of the field, and then Chandler does a great job in throwing the football where it needs to be thrown, but the real great job by there is Troy Drayton in making the turn and making the catch and then staying in bounds. Watch this. Now you can appreciate what Troy Drayton has to do. He's running full speed, and then he has to make that turn with Hardy Nickerson draped all over him. That's a great play by a tight end.
Chris
Super
Chandler.
job. Yeah, that's going to give him some confidence. You could tell at the beginning he didn't feel very comfortable back there. Trust me, taking that offense down the field like he just did could give him a lot of confidence, and that's going to open it up for him. That's going to help Jerome Bettis get involved here. He had a little bit to do with it. Flipper Anderson had a little bit to do with it. Got everybody involved.
Drayton thanking his quarterback. It was his 6th touchdown catch of the year. That leads the Rams. And Zendejas is setting up to kick off from his own 30. Back deep to receive will be Charles Wilson and Curtis Buckley for the Buccaneers. 4:52 going to second quarter, and what got off to a slow start has turned into quite a football game. 10-7 favor of the Buccaneers. So look at Wilson back deep, who's had a big day receiving the ball. 7-play, 77-yard march for the Rams. 4 minutes, 12 seconds. Capped by the big catch by Drayton. This one comes down to Buckley. And Buckley is popped hard at the 20-yard line. As Toby Wright flew in there to make the tackle on that return. As the Buccaneers will take over to see if they can answer.
You know, one thing about Buckley is he's a defensive player, and he's used to dishing out these kind of hits. I don't think he's used to receiving these kind of hits. Wow, what a hit. I mean, he came in. See,
you can hear that pop.
That's what makes him. I mean, a guy like that, Toby Wright coming in and hitting a defensive player like that.
Buccaneers with both receivers split to the near side. Now Dawsey in motion. And Erickson to pass. Over the middle, he has his man again. Dawsey over the middle on the catch. Fox Friday night is like nothing on earth. Get ready for 2 solid hours of non-stop action and adventure with Mantis and the X-Files. Catch 2 brand new episodes beginning at 8/7 Central this Friday on Fox. And X-Files, one of my favorite shows. In fact, I hope the wife recorded it for me this weekend because I'm here in Tampa. Was unable to watch. Unidentified flying objects and ghosts and goblins and everything else as they are investigated by the federal government. Great show. I love it. But I love this game a bit more. We got a good one out here so far.
We sure do.
9-yard gain on the Erickson completion to Dawsey. Sets up 2nd and 1. Rhett falls across the 30. Be very close to a first down. Jimmy Jones tripped him up on the play.
You know, you sense that the Ram defense now needs to step up. The offense is taking it down and putting you back in the game, and now the defense needs to shut them down. You know, Jones does a nice job. You know, he was hurt last week, but he gets penetration here. And when you get penetration, boy, it makes it hard to make those cutbacks. And how Rhett has been running the last few weeks, that's what he likes to do. And talking to Shane Connell yesterday, he felt that's what they needed to do. They needed to make Rhett's mind up for him. They need to get penetration, put him in position, and the other wave of tacklers, meaning the linebackers, need to make the plays and stop the running game.
Rhett fell just a bit short of the first down, about 6 inches or so that sets up a 3rd and short for the Buccaneers as Craig Erickson gets the play, or got the play from Coach Sam Weish. Tampa Bay has dominated in total yards, but leads only by 3. And a key 3rd down here on their own 30-yard line. 3rd and a half yard to go. Struggles free of tackles to pick up close to 5 yards on the play.
But Robert Young came scot-free through there. I mean, what a tremendous job by Rhett to get away from that and then get the first down. Watch the bottom of the screen. I mean, there's a confusion, but obviously between Ty J and Moore, the tight ends, about who they were supposed to block because somebody needed to get him. Boy, give Rhett a big credit here and avoiding that tackle, breaking that tackle, and then getting the first down.
Rhett, 16 rushes for 54 yards. Again, controlling things on the ground are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers behind the running of the rookie out of Florida, Rhett. First and 10 from the 35-yard line of Tampa Bay. McDowell in motion. They give again to Rhett. Rhett met hard up the middle.
Well, boy, Joe Kelly put the wood on him there. I mean,
and Joe Kelly has a few words for Rhett, who likes to talk himself during a football game.
yeah, I'm sure Rhett has had some big runs, and Joe Kelly's probably heard a few of his comments, and now, why not? Joe Kelly made a nice hit on him and give a little bit of it back.
That's the 2-minute warning with the score. The Buccaneers 10 and the Rams 7. Back with more in just a moment. While we were away, there were some more heated exchanges between the Buccaneers and the Ram players. During the break, Ian Beckles, Roman Pfeiffer doing a little jawing, and there goes the flag.
Yeah, I don't know what brought the Rams over towards the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side this far. But the offense has the ball, and Hardy Nickerson, he's out there. This is the play that happened, and you saw the hit, and Joe Kelly got up and gave Rhett a little bit of his medicine, talking a little bit to him. And Rhett likes to talk. I mean, that is one thing that he said he likes to talk, so I'm sure
Unsportsmanlike conduct on both teams for taunting, and both teams have been warned against further such conduct. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense.
I got to tell you, that's the first time. It's the first time I've seen that. And you know what? Who knows he wasn't wishing him happy birthday? I mean, nobody knows what he said. He might have said, "Hey, Eric, happy birthday. How old are you?"
Happy
and
24th, Eric.
For it.
I tell you, those officials are on it.
Yeah, but you got to let them talk. That's part of it. Let them have fun. It's a birthday party.
Did you like it? I mean, when you were hit, given a hard hit by a linebacker or something, did you like him to talk a little trash to you? Did it pump you up?
Yeah, it pumped me up, but I just went back to the huddle and felt the next play was the time to react.
2nd and 8 for the Buccaneers. Dawsey in motion, and Erickson back to throw. Looking deep down the far side, but well overthrown.
Yeah, it was well overthrown, and we're going to get another penalty here. Shane Conlon, I think Ty J. Armstrong got into it there.
2 more flags are down on the field, and Anthony McDowell has to be pulled away.
Anthony was involved in it also.
As this is at least the 6th or 7th time that some extracurricular activities have gone on between both these teams, and we're 1:54 away from the halftime break. I think they'll need it to cool off.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
Personal foul by the defense, number 56. Late hit, unnecessary roughness. First down.
Shane Conlon guilty of a late hit after the play, and that'll cost the Rams.
And Shane Conlon doesn't usually get involved in those kind of things. You very seldom see a player like him doing that kind of thing. I mean, it was way away from the play and the ball. I mean, I was watching the ball. I even missed it. Other than I saw Ty J laying on the ground and a flag came in.
So some of that talking from Tampa Bay has gotten Shane Conlon's motor running, and it doesn't take much to get him going.
No, and this is what happens when you get 2 teams that start talking. You forget about playing, and then you start these things. You start using extracurricular things afterwards. And you know, Ty J, I mean, here's a guy who's been labeled as a cheap shot. It's kind of ironic that he would have the flag called on the guy that cheap shotted him.
And nobody on this team believes it, though. They say he just plays hard, the motor's running all the time, and he blocks you through the whistle.
Yep, and I just think that's why. He's an aggressive player, and defensive players aren't used to his kind of style on the offensive side.
1st and 10, Buccaneers. On the Ram 48-yard line, 3 wide receivers in for Craig Erickson's offense. down. 14 yards on the play by Rhett, but wait a minute. Yet another flag.
Yeah, you see, watch this hole. I mean, Errict, Rhett, I mean, I'm not going to even say anything. I want you to just watch this. This is everything about Errict Rhett. Great vision, explosion, and then power. Great power. Nice run. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, players forget we're playing football. I mean, the talking, yeah, it's part of the game sometimes, but you got to shut up and play football now. I mean, you're hurting your team when you do this.
Second unsportsmanlike penalty against the Rams on this drive, and that'll move the ball all the way inside the 20-yard line of the Rams. Roman Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I tell you, this really works against the Rams, and I tell you what, it just tells the Buccaneers now are shutting up, and they're letting the Rams continue to go on, and it just keeps the chains going.
Rams with 5 penalties in the game. The Buccaneers not far behind with 3. And key chunks of yardage on unsportsmanlike penalties on this Buccaneer drive. 1st and 10 from the Los Angeles 19 as Erickson is in the shotgun with Mazio Royster in the lineup now for the Bucs. Play clock winding down. The give goes to Royster, who goes absolutely nowhere. Roman Pfeiffer in on the stop.
Yeah, Roman Pfeiffer was flagged that last time. And if you're going to be flagged by a penalty, you need to come up and make a play like that for a loss. Watch the bottom linebacker here. I mean, nobody gets a hat on him. He just reads the play and then makes a nice tackle. Wraps him up. Does a nice job in tackle. Wraps him up and stops him right there.
Vince Workman now in for the Buccaneers. A loss of 3 on that play. 2nd and 13 from the 22. Erickson gets it to Workman, who slips down. And we go with the wet turf again. It rained pretty much for most of the night last night. Pick up a 3 on that play, and yet another flag down. And it may be once again against the Rams.
And it's about talking again. I mean, Roman Pfeiffer did nothing different there. He tackled him cleanly, made the stop, but you could tell he had a few words for him. Watch this. Vince Workman was just going to come out here, do a little option route, break out into the flat. Erickson gets him the ball, and then he just slips and falls. Now, hey, listen.
Personal foul.
Now what?
Unnecessary roughness by the defense, number 58. Automatic 1st down. Half the distance to the goal.
You know what? I think Chuck, you got to get him out of the game and let him calm down a little bit. That's 2 key plays that he's killed you. Now he's going to put him right down there inside the 10-yard line. You got to pull him out and calm him down. You know, I think sometimes when you get a guy like Eric Rhett who talks a lot of trash, like happily, that people fall into that, and they take that personal, and then they start coming back, and then it's just like the old antics. I mean, they always see the second blow, like they always see the second word. They don't see the first initial thing.
The unnecessary roughness penalty sets up a 1st and goal for the Buccaneers at the Los Angeles 8. 1:01 to go here in the half. Erickson, semi-rollout. And he just threw that one away, incomplete. Nobody on his receiving corps was even there.
Yeah, that's a good job by Craig to do that. I mean, if there's nobody open, don't try to throw it in there. Just get rid of the ball and come back and try it again. Just watch this. I mean, the entire defense does a great job in coverage. Look at, there's nobody open there. There's nobody even open long enough to even try it. Erickson does a nice job of throwing that away.
It'll be 2nd and goal, 55 seconds to go in the 1st half. The Buccaneers, with the help of 3 unsportsmanlike penalties against the Rams defense, are set up in good territory at the Rams' 8-yard line. To Rhett. Big hole. Rhett scores. Touchdown, Buccaneers. 8 yards on the play. Dave Moore with another great block to set him free.
Well, I tell you what, Dave Moore has done a tremendous job. I mean, the entire offensive line, he had a couple different places he could have went. But Ian Beckles, I think Ian Beckles escorted him into the end zone there. I mean, that's a fired-up young man right there. Brings a lot of motion to this team.
And so the Buccaneers go up 16-7, and Michael Husted comes on to try to add the point after. kick is good. No flags are down after this one. And the Buccaneers in control, back up by 10 off the 80-yard drive, 17-7 late in the half. Rhett capping a 10-play, 80-yard drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 37 of their 80 yards were on Rams penalties. The Buccaneers get the last laugh, at least for now, with a 17-7 lead. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Kenshin and David Lang back deep to receive the kickoff of Michael Hustad. So Rhett's talking at the Rams off their game with 37 yards in penalties. Return by Lang. He gets out across the 30-yard line, and we still have more extracurricular activity on the field. A fight breaks out around the 50. Another flag is down.
Yeah, Buckley's involved again. I mean, you know, both teams have really lost the concept here. We're playing football. I mean, this fighting is not going to help you. It's only going to hurt you.
When do the officials now, Merrill, when do they start maybe tossing a guy or two out of this game to reestablish control?
Well, I think it's tough now. I mean, so many things have went on. I mean, it's kind of after the fact now. But the officials need to do something. I mean, you can't just throw a 15-yard penalty on each other and tell them, you know, we've warned them, quit talking. Let's look at the touchdown. I want you to look at Ian Beckles, who's the right guard here. He's going to come off with Ty Armstrong and lob these guys inside. But Dave Moore's going to come off and block an outside lane and create an alley for Errict. Then Errict does a nice job of finding
team number 32 during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Look at Ian Beckles down here. You tell me he isn't excited? He's the offensive lineman. They get excited. And Ian Beckles is a guy, he said, you know, I pulled Errict aside. And I said, listen. This is the offense. This is how you need to watch us. I mean, we have a different blocking scheme, and he's kind of taking the credit for Erric's success. He said, I had to take that young man under my wing.
Chuck Knox assured us in our conversations there was no quit in this team and isn't expected.
Watch this. The holding was by Toby Knight, number 32. He held it. And Nella Gates a big run. I mean, those kind of holding penalties really hurt you.
So the Rams have 37 seconds to work with as Chris Chandler from the shotgun has his team out on the 22-yard line. Chandler rolling out. Throws downfield. The officials rule it a catch. No. And rule the catch out of bounds, incomplete. Jerome Ross was the intended receiver on the play, but he was out of bounds when he made the catch. And we have a flag down in the Rams backfield, the area of holding. Let's wait for the call.
There was no foul on the play. There was no tripping. The pass was incomplete. Brings up second down.
Okay, so
I want you to watch Santana Dotson. Here's a guy who hasn't got a lot of playing time. And this is kind of the first time he's really, guess he pushed him a little bit. I don't think there was anything dirty. I think that he backed off on him. You know, Chandler got rid of the ball late there, and he played all the way until he got rid of it.
And the Rams are going to say enough is enough with 28 seconds left. They're going to just kneel on it and go into the halftime locker room down by 10.
That's a smart play. I mean, don't hurt yourself any more than you already have. Go back and regroup.
A reminder coming up, Dockers halftime. With James and Terry with the scores and highlights and Big Bayous, the big plays of the week. As we wind down time here in the first half, that's the end of the first half with the score. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17, the Los Angeles Rams 7. Stay tuned for the Doctors Halftime Report as NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local stations. Hustad's kick will come down to Lang at his 1. Lang, nice hole on the near side. Lang one man to beat before he's finally pushed out of bounds by Martin Mayhew after a 57-yard return, and that'll put the Rams in great shape.
You know, and that's more important and hurts more than all the trash talking the Rams were doing in the first half. I mean, really, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the special teams have played outstanding all year, and for them to give up this kind of play in the opening second half, you know, that affects George Stewart. I mean, there's one of the best special teams coaches in the league, and believe me, he is not pleased with that. He'll gather his troops up and correct that problem.
Rams open in great field position. They have to take advantage of it, trailing by 10 at the Tampa Bay 42-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chris Chandler's offense. Chandler's pass toward Flipper Anderson is incomplete, but Charles Demery was all over Anderson in the coverage. That kick return by Lang was the longest the Rams have had this season, 57 yards. That'll set up 2nd down and 10 as Chandler gets his plays first half. Chandler 5 of 13 for 65 yards and the nice touchdown pass, the 22-yarder to Troy Drayton for the Rams' only score of the first half. 2nd down and 10 for the Rams. Todd Kinchin has come in and the 3 wide receiver set. Bettis the lone setback. Oh, no whistle there as Chandler got sandwiched by both Culpepper and Curry. Before we got a whistle, it appears the Buccaneers jumped, but let's wait for the call.
Did you see that? Chandler didn't even look like he was affected by the hit. I mean, he gets hit by Culpepper and Curry, and it didn't look like he affected. Yeah, he lost the ball, but he looked like no big deal. Watch this. I mean, Curry gets off the ball, Brad. Culpepper.
Offsides by the defense. Number 73 unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down. Please put 2 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I was surprised they even had a huddle for that one. That was a pretty obvious call there. But, you know, I think that they've been under so much scrutiny that officials want to gather up now and make sure that the right call is made, that everybody saw the right thing. And if you didn't, well, they'll tell you what you should have saw.
2nd and 5 now for the Rams at the Tampa Bay 37. Miller falls down, loses the ball. Do the Buccaneers have it? They say they do.
You know, and I couldn't see from here, but oftentimes when that happens, an offensive lineman has stepped on the quarterback's foot.
Lonnie Marks, the recovery of the miscue by Chandler, and the Buccaneers are in business.
Watch this when he comes out. He looks like he might have got stepped on there. You know, the instincts in a player is to continue and try to keep the play going, but boy, he was so far out of position there, maybe should have just kept that and taken the loss there.
A key turnover as the Buccaneers recover, and Chuck Knox's offense blows a marvelous opportunity. 2 turnovers for the Rams today. Tampa Bay has not yet turned it over, and they take over the Buccaneers at their own 37-yard line, 1st and 10 for Craig Erickson. And Rhett off the left side out across the 40 to the 42. Todd Light on the tackle along with Sean Gilbert.
You know, one thing about Errict, I mean, you can tell he's the workhorse. If you look at his jersey compared to everybody else's, in fact, that looks like the jersey he used last week. Maybe just kept it on, he didn't wash it. But I mean, that's a dirty jersey right there.
2nd and 5. The Rams, Thomas Homco, x-rays on his foot were negative. His return is probable. Homco, a leader on the Rams special teams. 2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers. Rhett again. Brought down by Gilbert with some help from Shane Conlon. And we got another flag.
Yeah, you got Robert Young and Ty Armstrong are just, I mean, once they collide, I mean, these are 2 players that like to go hard, and they just kept going after the whistle. We'll see what the official saw, who he saw, who stopped and who didn't stop. That's who the penalty will be on, who he felt did not stop.
You got a holding call is the preliminary indication.
Holding by the offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Holding against Ty.J. Armstrong.
Yeah. Watch the bottom of your screen. Watch Ty.J. Armstrong. He's known for his aggressiveness and his blocking. But watch this. Right to your right there, he's going to grab him. He's going to continue with him, driving him. And they just called him for holding there. Now, when you say that, that's to the right of me.
The 2nd and 15 to go at the 32 for the Buccaneers. Rhett's the lone setback. Play clock winding down on Craig Erickson. And he in time to give to Rhett, who goes up the middle where he is met hard by Shane Conlon. And on the bottom of the pile was Jimmy Jones.
And you know what allows Shane Conlon to do that is when you get two gappers like Jimmy Jones and Sean Gilbert, and they're taking two players, that allows Shane Conlon to make the play. Watch the middle of the screen. Jimmy Jones is going to come off here, and he's going to take on Ian Beckles, and then that allows Shane Conlon to make the play. And that's how defenses work together. Defensive line, they have to give up a lot of the plays, so the linebackers back there make the plays, but then the linebackers had better make those plays.
On 3rd and 13, Erickson in the shotgun formation, looking to throw. Goes deep over the middle, and he has his man. Horace Copeland signals first down after the pickup of 18 yards on the play. Todd Light on the.
Boy, he just got that ball, got rid of that football. But watch Horace Copeland down here at the bottom of your screen. He's just going to push it up about 15 yards, and then he's going to break it across, and he keeps it flat. That's what is important, is he didn't bow it. When he made his break, he kept it flat. And the offensive line, I mean, they've done it game after game these last few games, and they give him enough protection to let a deep route like that develop. And then Erickson finds the right guy and gets it to him.
1st and 10 for the Buccaneers at the Ram 47. Play clock winding down, and again, Erickson has to burn his 3rd time out of the game to beat the play clock. 17-7, Buccaneers lead, 11:52 to go in the 3rd quarter. Tampa Stadium, and Rhett off to a good afternoon among the rookie rushers in the National Football League. He trails only Marshall Faulk of the Colts. Faulk Morris of the Steelers. Those numbers are coming into the day. Rhett continues to add to an impressive run over the last 5 weeks of competition. 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers on the Ram 48. Play fake to Rhett, and Erickson under heavy pressure as nobody bought it. The pass is incomplete. Robert Young with the initial pressure on Erickson on that play.
Yeah, well, I bought it. Me and Jimmy Jones bought it. I was with Rhett on that play. Jimmy Jones, you always know when you run a good play fake when you get tackled. Watch Jimmy Jones right here, the left tackle. He comes through, and he thinks Rhett has the ball, and he's going to tackle him. That's when you know you've run a good fake. Coaches like to see that, but if you're not going to get the ball, you don't really want to get tackled.
Rams were questioning the officials about who Erickson was passing that ball to. No receiver appeared in the area, but no call against Erickson and the Buccaneers. 2 receivers out wide to Erickson's left on 2nd and 10. Vince Workman also in the game for the Buccaneers. Workman gets it. Nice yardage. Just outside the 40-yard line. He's brought down at the 42 by Shane Conlon.
You know, I like that play. That's a little different than you've seen from the Sam Weiss offense, where you have 2 backs and you give it to the fullback, which is Vince Workman, who's more of a halfback, but he's an excellent runner. And you know, if you've got 2 good runners like that, I like that, using both of those guys, give them different formations, let them both run the ball.
Green Bay in control of Chicago as we take a look at some of the other scores in early games. Giants leading Cincinnati by 10 and Indianapolis by 3 over New England. 3rd and 5 for Erickson out of the shotgun. And he has his man over the middle. Inside the 40-yard line, he completes it to Rhett. And it looks like it'll be just short of the 1st down. Sets up an interesting situation for Rhett. Sam Weiss in the Tampa Bay offense.
You know, I think you go for this. And you go for this because your offense has done a good job all day. The only risk that you run, I think you allow the Rams back in it if you don't. But I tell you what, you can take a little steam out of them if you're successful here. It's 4th and 1, 1.5. But I think this is good. I think you go for it. And especially Erickson. Watch for his hard count here. Here's a good time to use that.
4th and 1 on the Ram 39. And it took the Buccaneers a while to get organized, and the play clock ran out on them. And they're saying the officials should have stopped it while they got things organized. We'll see what the call is.
They didn't spot the ball, and if they start the clock before they spot the ball.
Accidentally kicked the ball. Therefore, the ball had to be respotted. There is no foul. He set the clock at 25 seconds.
Now, I like his language. No defensive player accidentally kicks the football. You kick it on purpose. Because that means you're not ready and organized and ready for that 4th down place. You bide yourself a little more time.
4th down and 1. The ball just inside the Ram 40-yard line. More in motion. And it looks like Erickson was trying to draw him off there, unable to do it.
Yeah, they try. We call that no snap, no play. You call that in the huddle. You're going to run motion, make it look like a run play, and then let Erickson use his hard count. See if you can get somebody off size. If you don't, you call timeout and you kick it.
The offense, 5-yard penalty, it remains 4th down.
So Dan Straczynski will come in, and back deep to receive for the Rams will be Todd Kinchin. Had a couple of muffed punts last week's game against the Saints. Straczynski will punt it from his 40-yard line, or around the 40. Has 2 punts today for an average of 34.5 yards. This one comes down to Kinchin at his 10. He gets up to about the 20 before he's brought down. 9:25 to go in the 3rd quarter off the 10-yard return, but we have another flag down. Marty Carter was on the tackle, of Kinchin. Flag on the play back at about the 11 of Los Angeles.
Looks like it's against the Rams again.
67 yards worth of penalties against them in the first half. And
holding by the receiving team, number 57, during the return. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Rams take over. 9:25 to go in the quarter. Tampa Bay by 10. Back at Tampa Stadium, talking about the Buccaneer defense stepping it up. Last week against Washington, they allow only 10 yards rushing. Today against Bettis and the Rams, only 23. Remember, last week they came in ranked 27th in the league in that department. Rams 1st and 10 from their own 6. The give to the first man through is Griffith. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Eric, Lambeau Field is definitely magic for the Packers. They're 4-0 there this year, soon to be 4-0. Sterling Sharp, 14th touchdown reception of the season. Green Bay spanking Chicago 31-3. Back to Tampa Bay, Eric Clemons and Merrill Hoge.
Well, Merrill, that can't make you too happy, I know, seeing the Bears getting pounded like that.
No, I better get back there and rally the boys. We need to win our next 2.
2nd and 5, Bettis on the carry around the right side. Doesn't have much room, though, as he's met by a host of Buccaneers out at about the 11-yard line. Marty Carter and Lonnie March led the charge to stop him after a very short game.
You know, watch the offensive line and the defensive line here. This is how plays are either successful or not successful. Look at the penetration that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get where the play is coming to. That's what stops that play. The Bucs win right there.
4 wide receivers set for the Rams as Brad Culpepper set to put the charge on Chris Chandler, who's back in the shotgun. Johnny Bailey, who drops it.
Well, that's too bad. Johnny Bailey had a lot of grass ahead of him. I mean, maybe 10 or 15 yards before he even had to make a move to break a tackle or something. And that's a guy I thought that they would try to go to a lot in these situations where it's third and short, third and medium, because he has such a great job. And after he catches the ball, breaking tackles and making yardage and creating first downs for the Rams.
Sean Landetta back in his own end zone to punt. In punt formation, Thomas Everett back deep to receive for the Buccaneers, standing at midfield. Drive kick comes right to Everett at his 48. Everett hole up the middle, gets inside the 40 before he's brought down at the 37-yard line. A 40-yard punt by Landetta, a 14-yard return for Thomas Everett as the Buccaneers take of the Rams made the tackle, and the referees have to separate some Rams and Buccaneers once again.
I have to laugh, but Thomas Everett does a nice job returning punts. I didn't know he had this in him.
The Buccaneers also have a 10-point lead with 7:55 to go in the third quarter. Personal foul penalty, though.
Well, there goes all of Thomas Everett's yardage. I mean, he's getting nice returns.
Second time I think that's happened to him today on a return.
And they're being called back.
Everett still getting congratulations from his teammates on the sideline.
They know what I know. Thomas Everett, we had times in Pittsburgh where we said, you know, we needed some punt returners when some people got hurt. Never once did his arm come up.
And what about you? You probably felt pretty good returning punts.
Unnecessary roughness by the receiving team, going out of bounds and blocking a player out of bounds. The number 26, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I returned him in college, but after college, I figured I better give that to those guys.
Roderick Green on the penalty there. Tampa Bay with a 10-point lead and the ball when we come back.
Here. Now Chris Brantley is going to run out of bounds here, and then right there, Roderick's going to come and hit him, and that's what the penalty is on. Once a guy goes out of bounds, yes, he's got to make the effort to get back in the field of play, but once he's on the out-of-bounds line, you can't hit him.
And there's a key penalty against Roderick Green. It cost the Buccaneers 30 yards of field position. Still decent shape at their own 34-yard line. With Rhett the lone setback, and he gets the handoff around the left side and has good yardage out across the 40 to the 42-yard line before Roman Pfeiffer brings him down. 8 yards on that pickup.
You know, Errict just let his blockers do their job there, and he kind of just hopped in their back pocket and just followed them for 8 yards. Watching the end zone here. Watch McCray. Nice job. He makes a nice block here. But watch Errict. I mean, McCray's going to pull. Now he's just going to hop in his back pocket. Now let them work. Let them work. And then he gets up in there, and they got 8 yards. That's a nice job by the offensive linemen and the running backs working together.
Rhett approaching 100 yards rushing on this afternoon to work. Second down and 2 for the Buccaneers at their own 42. And Rhett again. Off the left side, out to the 45-yard line before he's brought down by Gilbert and Conlon. And a first down for Tampa Bay.
Rhett shows a lot of stamina. He had 40 carries last week, and he has 23 carries today for 96 yards, and he's still running hard and tough. Those were tough yards right there to get a first down. And he's not a real huge guy, but he's showing that he has a lot of power, a lot of strength in those legs.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay at their own 45-yard. Play clock winding down. They give again to Rhett. Rhett cuts it back, falls forward for almost 5 more yards.
Yeah, and that again, I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line is taking control of this game. You know, they're pushing the Rams defensive line back, and they're allowing Rhett to get 5 or 6 yards a pop. And this is the time where the Tampa Bay Buccaneer line takes over here late in the third quarter and early in the fourth quarter.
That carry took Rhett over 100 yards, 24 carries, 101 yards on the day for the rookie running back out of Florida. And he's a workhorse again. Cutting it back to his left and picking up 3 more yards before a host of Rams bring him down. This Budweiser game summary Coming up here, total yards. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a huge advantage. Jerome.
They put that fumble on Jerome Bettis, but that was not Jerome Bettis' fumble.
3rd down and 2 for the Buccaneers on the Los Angeles 48-yard line. Dawsey in motion near side, and Erickson back to throw. It goes over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Lawrence Dawsey. But Todd Light was there on tight coverage to help knock it away.
Well, there's a couple of things there. They blitzed, and everybody did the right job in picking their guys up. And Erickson said, you know what? Dawsey's a guy, even though he's covered, I want to go to him. Now you watch this. They're going to blitz. They're going to bring the linebackers. Morse does a nice job in picking him up. And then he throws to, I mean, he's almost double covered. He just couldn't come down with it. But Erickson said, you know, he's a guy that I'll go to, even covered.
Dan Straczynski back at his 37 in punt formation. Todd Kinchin is deep. High hanging punt. Kinchin goes back inside his 10, takes it at his 7, and has a big hole up the middle, out across the 30. One man to beat. Finally caught from behind, out close to the 50-yard line on a good return for Todd Kinchin. Barney Bussey makes the stop, a 40-yard return off the 41-yard punt by Todd Kinchin. Rams trailing by 10 with 4:44 to go in the 3rd quarter.
That they're going into this game. And on one return, he was 2 yards shy of just tying that on just one return.
Todd Kinchin gives the Rams excellent field position at their own 47, down by 10 as Chris Chandler leads the offense. A play fake to Bettis, and Chandler looking for it all. Overthrows his man on the post pattern. He was looking for Flipper Anderson, but he was covered tightly by Martin Mayhew.
You know, last week was burned on a couple of those by Heath Schuler from the Redskins. And he told us they were going to try this. They were going to try to go deep. But he's well covered there, and the ball wasn't thrown enough across the field to let him go after it.
Flipper Anderson, the deep threat for Chris Chandler and the Los Angeles Rams. Chandler 5 of 15, 65 yards. He's missed his last 4 attempts. 2nd and 10. Chandler swings it out to Bettis, who bowls over Dimry and crosses into Buccaneer territory down to about the 48-yard line.
You know, that ball took him to the sideline, but the one thing about Jerome Bettis is he has that fullback mentality, and he will always have that fullback mentality. You know, Johnny Bailey comes in when they go to these 3rd down positions. In the last couple weeks, he's had a lot of catches, 19 for 193 yards. Today he has 0, and I think you got to get this guy involved, especially in yardages like this, because he can break a tackle and make a 1st down for you.
3rd and 5 is Chandler from the shotgun. Everett showing blitz, may have been offside. Chandler going for it all again down the far sideline, and it's overthrown. He was looking for Jerome Ross, but we do have flags down on the play. As it appeared, Thomas Everett might have jumped offside as he was showing blitz.
Yeah, you see these safeties get up in the line of scrimmage, and they're not used to being there. And then that's a good time to use that hard count, because they want to time it, because the reasoning for them is to hit the gap and get to the quarterback quickly. And he just gets a little overexcited here. Watch here, Thomas Everett's just going to walk up here and get in the gap. And he's trying to time it, and just his momentum takes him, and then he jumps on it. And then that allows them to go for it deep, because they know they have a free play.
Peters orchestrates his defense here in Tampa.
Yeah, so you always have to argue the call, even if it's pretty blatant. You still have to argue it. So he can't believe it, but it was, I don't have to tell Floyd, it was pretty obvious.
The walk-off of the penalty puts the Rams very close to a 1st down. 3rd and less than 1 at the Tampa Bay 43-yard line. Chandler gives to Bettis. Bettis stopped short.
I mean, what a terrific job by the defensive line. On both sides of the ball, when you talk to both linebackers, they say, you know what, our defensive line has to create penetration. Then we've got to make the play. But watch this. Troy Drayton does a great job. I mean, really, the entire defensive line does in creating penetration, and then the safeties and the linebackers have to come make those plays, and they did. Wheeler pushed penetrating all the way back into Bettis, and when you get hit in the back of the line of scrimmage like Bettis did, I mean, you have no chance.
And the Rams are forced to punt about 1.5 yards short of the first down. Sean Landetta punting for the 5th time today. He'll punt deep to Thomas Everett, who would like at least one of his returns to count. Landetta, high kick. Everett signals for the fair catch and has it at his 10-yard line. 35-yard punt with no return. 2:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Buccaneers lead the Rams by 10.
Penetration, and then he's reading it and filling his way through, and it just happens to be a lot of his yards, and the plays are taking him up the middle.
The birthday boy with over 100 yards rushing so far in this game. We still have more than a quarter to go. 2:45 left in the 3rd quarter. Tampa Bay up by 10. First on their own 11, and Rhett gets another carry and falls forward out close to the 15-yard line before Shane Conlon brings him down. Next Sunday, join JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy for a very special Fox NFL Sunday when we present the anxiously awaited Terry Awards. Categories include Coach and Player of the Year, Steal of the Year, and the first ever Bad Hair Award. You'll also find out what coaches and GMs think of the officiating this year when we realize the results of the first Fox NFL GM and Coaches Poll coming up next Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, here on Fox. 2nd and 7. From the 14-yard line, Erickson with Rhett as his single back. And the give again goes to Rhett, who is stacked up behind the line this time. A host of Rams there, including Joe Kelly on the stop. Jimmy Jones is also in there on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, not to give any secrets out, though, and I know that Terry's keeping those very confident. But talking to these two coaches when that poll comes out about the officiating, it wasn't very positive in talking to these two coaches the other day. Both of them felt that, you know, they've been robbed because of bad calls. They've been robbed of wins in this season on a couple different occasions.
Vince Workman in the game now for the Buccaneers, and Coach Knox and Weish also talked about the indecision among officials a lot of times on what they thought were obvious calls. Erickson back to pass, buys a little more time and throws down the middle. Almost intercepted off the deflection, but it falls incomplete. Shane Conlon was on the coverage of Lawrence Dawsey, who broke across the middle.
Yeah, linebackers don't catch a lot of footballs, but they usually don't expect them to bounce right back to them when they're heading towards the other way. You know, watch this. This is why he likes to go to Dawsey, because he usually makes these catches. But you got to give the credit there to the defender too, and Todd Light getting his hand in there and getting the ball out of there. It's tough to catch a ball and a hand.
Shane Conlon almost had it on the deflection. Rhett was prone on the grass here at Tampa Stadium for a while, but runs off over his own power to the ovation of the crowd here at Tampa Stadium.
Yeah, they need this guy. He just needs a little break. He'll be all right. Probably just got his oil changed right there.
Dan Straczynski into punt from his own end zone. He's set up right now. His 5th punt of the day. His long of the day has been 41 yards. Todd Kinchin back deep to receive at his own 45. A high hanging punt. Kinchin calling for the fair catch and makes it at his own 38-yard line. A 49-yard punt with no return.
Watch the middle of the screen here. You'll see what happened to Rhett. If you watch right down here, right in the middle of the screen, when Rhett comes out there, he follows him, and then he hits as he has his back turned after the ball was thrown. I mean, sometimes that's what trash talking will do, especially after the other team's been penalized for trash talking back. They figure, well, I'll quit talking and I'll start hitting them.
A couple of injuries to report. Magruder of Tampa Bay has a hamstring injury. He will not return. Looked at the LA injury in a moment as Chandler 1st and 10 from his own 38. Throws to the far side, and that one is incomplete, knocked away by Martin Mayhew.
Yeah, Martin Mayhew drove on that really nicely. I mean, he almost looked like he knew the route there. Did a nice job in just settling there.
Jesse Hester was the intended receiver on that. Mayhew on the coverage, and the injured Buccaneer on the field is defensive end Eric Curry. being attended to.
Yeah, and here's a guy who's really stepped up and played. I mean, he's done an excellent job in putting pressure on the quarterback and getting these defensive line buddies geared up for every Sunday. Has been a huge part in helping this defense turn their attitude around, especially on the defensive line.
Curry, the 6'5" defensive end out of Alabama in his second season, and he's really stepped up his play. Let's update an LA injury too. Linebacker Chris Martin strained his calf. He will not return to the game. And the Buccaneers, of course, hoping that they get their big defensive end back and able to finish out this contest. 58 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tampa Bay up by 10.
Well, that's a good sign. Maybe just got his shoulder. You can see the trainer up there working under his shoulder. Boy, when those big guys are up in there, they may be close, but there's a lot of power that's being delivered up there in those trenches.
All right, some scores. Big victory by Detroit yesterday. A team thought to be dead, suddenly very much alive in the playoff race. Minnesota in a barn burner at Buffalo, leading that one 18-17 in the fourth, and Green Bay is all over Chicago 34-3 in the fourth quarter. And that sets up the big game next week. Fox NFL Special. Join us for the pregame show at 12 noon Eastern and 9 Pacific. Then it's the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions from the Silverdome. That should be a barn burner. Vikings shut down Barry Sanders last time the two teams met. Chandler hits Jesse Hester over the middle for big yardage, but a flag is down on the play at the line of scrimmage. We'll wait for the call. Roderick Green on the tackle there. Jesse Hester, 29 yards on the play, but there is a flag down.
Offsides by the defense. Number 73 lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. First down.
Watch Jesse Hester right here in the slot. He's just come up, actually dropped back into his zone. He beats the guy across his face, and the ball's put right there nicely so he can hit that seam and get upfield.
50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Hester. First reception of the game. And Chandler leading the Rams as he gives it to Tim Lester, the first back through, and Lester has good yardage down near just inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah,
Pick up of about 8 or 9 on the play.
Tim Lester doesn't start anymore, but these fullbacks have had positive yards every time they've gotten the football. I mean, he's just going to turn around there and he hits the seam. The line does a nice job. There was a missed tackle right there, and he almost breaks out of that. It's a nice positive run. Maybe the Rams ought to give the fullback a little more and get him started.
Carl Wilson replacing Eric Curry, and the Rams run that way with the last play. Lester again for the first down. That's going to be the end of the third quarter with the score. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 17, the Los Angeles Rams 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. Sam Weiss seeing his team roar out to 17 points in the second quarter, and right now Buccaneers holding to a 10-point lead over the Rams, but the Rams on the march at the Tampa Bay 23-yard line. Eric Curry out with an injury. He'll be replaced by 91 Carl Wilson. Merrill, do you go right after Wilson to see what he's got?
Oftentimes that's like a corner. When a corner goes down, you see quarterbacks that go, listen, we're going to pick on that guy. We're going to see if he can step in. And in the running game, you try to do that to, defensive linemen. If somebody goes down who's been a starter and a player like Eric Curry has, and he goes out and they bring a new fresh guy in, you attack him and you test him and you see what he can do.
First and 10 for the Rams at the Tampa Bay 23-yard line. Bettis is the lone setback behind Chris Chandler. And Chandler swings it out to Bettis with a flag down. Nice spin move by Bettis to stay in bounds and dives toward the 15-yard line. He spun off the hit of Roderick Green, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see what the call is.
It almost seems like they lined up in the neutral zone again.
Offsides against the Buccaneers.
Offsides by the defense. Number 73 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Culpepper, the culprit there. And Floyd Peters urging his defensive unit to get something going and stop the Rams from getting right back into this ball game. Santana Dotson is now in there. 1st and 5 from the Tampa Bay 18. And give to Bettis. Bettis gets down to about the 15-yard line before he's brought down by Carl Wilson.
Well, the Rams really need to come away with a touchdown. I mean, it would be really important for these guys, the way that, you know, the first half ended, to come out here, get a touchdown, put it to a 3-point game versus a 7-point game.
Toderick McIntosh has replaced Carl Wilson at Eric Curry's right end spot. 9th play of the drive for the Rams. 14 minutes left in the ball game. They give to Lester. Lester up the middle, gets inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
You know, those quick hitting plays with the fullback seem to be the most positive running plays from tackle to tackle. And I would use them fullbacks a little more there and get Jerome Bettis on the pitches, because those pitches, when he's able to sweep and pick these plays, has been more positive for Jerome. Watch Wheeler right here. He kind of jumps up, and then as he gets back, he kind of loses his power, and then he just takes him across and pushes him across the hole.
And you see how close it is for 1st down. Inches to go for the Los Angeles Rams. Is this 2-down territory if they don't make it?
No, you've got to, if you don't get down, I think you have to kick the field goal. You have to get some points here. You can't put yourself in a position where you get nothing here.
3rd down and inches to go for the Rams on the Buccaneer 13-yard line. Tim Lester, and it's going to be close. He was stacked up right as he got the ball.
I think he probably got the 1st down, but I like that call, because if you wait a few seconds longer or 1 step longer, give it to Jerome, you saw the penetration they got there, and they really stopped the fullback there. But if you give it to the halfback, I mean, that gives them even that much longer to create penetration and stop the play. Short yardage plays like that, I think the quicker you can hit the play, the better off you are.
They're going to come back out and measure for Chuck Knox. With a touchdown, his team gets right back into things and has a chance to snap what's been a quite frustrating 4-game losing streak, and they get it by about
an inch.
An inch or two.
Yeah, I say something that I would do if I was the Rams. I'd give it to the fullback again. Those have been some plays that have been positive for them. I put them in positive positions every time they've had a good drive.
Lester went out. Harold Griffith back in. And Chandler off play action, going to the end zone, and it's caught on a great effort in the end zone. Jesse Hester scores the touchdown, 12 yards on the completion, and the Rams are right back in the ball.
Boy, Jesse Hester just went up and took that ball away. I mean, Chandler puts the ball in the perfect position, but that is a great play by the receiver to go up and get the ball. They do a little misdirection here with Jerome, and he puts the ball up there. Now watch him go up and get the ball at its highest point. See, he goes up there and goes above Martin Mayhew to grab the ball. Great play by Jesse.
Tony Zendejas on for the extra point. That would bring the Rams to within 3. It's straight through. 12:42 to go in the contest, and we have a good one on our hands. Tampa Bay's lead cut to 3. Back at Tampa Stadium, where 3 points separate the Rams from the Buccaneers. 17-14, 12:42 to go. Tony Zendejas about to kick it to Curtis Buckley and Charles Wilson, who are back deep. The drive, 11 and 62 yards. The Rams cap it with the touchdown pass. Chandler to Hester. This is Wilson, who takes it out past the 30. And up close to the 40-yard line before Darrell Henley brings him down. And the Bucs will be in good shape. 30-yard return.
And now I want you to watch Jerome Bettis right here at the play action. He's going to hold here. But watch Jesse Hester up here, right here in the slot. He's going to come up here. He's going to try to corner route. But the thing that makes this going, first of all, the ball was put in great position. But right here, he goes up and gets the ball at the highest point. That's what makes that play.
And Charles Wilson makes another pretty big play. Hester has extended his games with at least one pass caught streak to 76 with a big touchdown there. And Charles Wilson, another big play on the kickoff return out to about the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay. Dawsey in motion to the right, and Erickson will go back to throw it. Over the middle, and Charles Wilson. Wilson picking up about 8 yards on the play.
Yeah, you know what?
2nd and 2.
Charles Wilson has really stepped up. I mean, Courtney Hawkins goes down, makes that big play for a touchdown, gets him started here by the nice kickoff return, and then gets a positive play right there. That's when you've got to step up. You know, you don't get it. When you're not a starter, you have to wait for those opportunities. And when they do, you've got to rise. You've got to capitalize them right then.
2nd and 2 is Dave Moore in motion to the right, and the give to Errict, who cuts it back up the middle for big yardage across the 45 into Ram territory down to about the 43 before Todd Light brings him down.
You know, I'd get his engine started right now. Here's a guy who can take some time off the ball, off the clock, and put points on the board. I mean, Tony Mayberry up the middle there does a great job. And see, these runs, initially he's going to the right, but with the great blocking of the offensive line and Tony Mayberry creates a hole there, he's able to pick up the middle.
Rhett, a workhorse again, 40 carries last week, 28 this week for 115 yards and a touchdown. 1st and 10. At the Los Angeles 44, Erickson play fakes, going for it all. And he had Lamar Thomas breaking open, but overshot him in the end zone.
And I mean, he had him. Had he been able to put the ball there, that would have been 6. I mean, that's a straight flight play. Nothing fancy about it. It's just speed on speed. Top of your screen right here. Just watch him. He's just going to take off. Erickson's doing a nice play fake, and that kind of lets the corner settle there, and then he just puts the ball out there just a little too far.
Darrell Henley on the coverage there, and is fortunate for him. And Erickson overshot Lamar Thomas. Both wide receivers split out to the right. Tampa Bay 308 yards of total offense. They've dominated, but they lead it by only 3. They give to Rhett. He is met by Marquez Pope and Roman Pfeiffer, and a host of other Rams come in to make the stop.
And what the Rams are doing right now is they're bringing people. They figure they've got to stop. And this is the time of the game, yeah, you do have to stop them. And you have to take chances. And they're starting to send linebackers and safeties through the gaps. And it's working for them. It worked for them there.
Loss of 3 yards on that play sets up a 3rd and 13 for Sam Weish and his Buccaneers offense.
You know, Tampa Bay is very good at double screening here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that.
Erickson will work from the shotgun formation with Rhett as his lone setback and 3 wide receivers. And it's incomplete to the near side. He was looking for Lawrence Dawsey. Check that. Lawrence Dawsey seemed to be breaking free on the near side, but it was thrown a bit high.
Yeah, he just threw that ball a little high, out of his reach. You see Dawsey a little upset with everything, but that ball is just a little out of his reach. It would have been a tough catch to make there.
So the Rams rise up and stop the Buccaneers. That forces a Dan Straczynski punt. Punted from about his 43. It's a high kick in toward the far side of the field, but it's into the end zone. That'll be a touchback, and the Rams will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20 after the 46-yard punt. Buccaneers still lead by 3. We're back at Tampa Stadium, where the Buccaneers hold a 3-point lead over the Rams. Yes, Rhett has had a big afternoon, but they need to implore the defense right now as the Rams have the ball back. 1st and 10 on their own 20. Looking to tie or pull ahead here in Tampa. Bettis is stacked up behind the line. Chidi Hanatu, the first man to meet Bettis. That'll be a loss on the play. Prepare yourself for a journey that's out of this world. This Tuesday night, join William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Superman's Dean Cain, and Carrie Fisher for a look. 2nd and 12 for the Rams, rather. The ball on the Los Angeles 18-yard line after that 2-yard loss by Bettis. Now Chandler throws and gets the ball to his receiver.
Smart play by Flipper Anderson. Did you see that? He didn't have the first down, but he had the presence in mind to get the ball ahead of him.
That was Jesse Hester on the reception. Stretched the ball over the first down mark, picked up 11 yards.
Watch this. Watch Jesse up here. He's going to come up here, and he's going to get the yardage for the first. He's got to come back and get the ball. But then he has the presence of mind to put the ball over the yard line to get the first down.
Well, I guess the referees are saying he put the ball out there, but a little bit short. So it'll be 3rd and less than a yard to go.
Well, they didn't give him his forward progress.
No, they sure didn't. And there's a quarterback sneak as Chandler goes in and looks to be across the 30-yard line, which would be enough for a first down for Los Angeles. Approaching 8.5 minutes to go in the game, and first down it is for the Rams.
Well, now they got the ball in the right place. That's where it should have been the first time. I think the Rams just need to do these things. These are the kind of things that they've been successful in their 2 drives that have resulted in touchdowns. The little runs and these little short hooking passes.
1st and 10 for Chandler and the offense. Troy Drayton in motion to the near side. And play fake to Bettis and buy some time. Now he'll keep it. And Chandler picks up about 7 yards before he's brought down by Brad Culpepper. Out all the way to about the 37-yard line. That'll set up 2nd and 3.
You know, Barney Bussey was caught between a rock and a hard spot. He saw Chandler coming to him, nobody to defend, didn't know whether to go at him or sit there and play under the receiver. He did a nice job of sitting there and just holding his position and keeping Chandler there so the Culpepper could come in and make the play.
2nd and 3 for the Rams at their own 37. High formation. And a give to Bettis, who is again met behind the line of scrimmage. Met by Carl Wilson, who got penetration that time.
Well, if we had questions about, you know, was Carl Wilson going to be able to pick it up for Eric Curry, he just proved that he can do that right there. Does great job getting penetration, dips his shoulder and gets up through there and hits Jerome Bettis 3 or 4 yards in the backyard.
Bettis, another rough afternoon. Running the football. Johnny Bailey's now in the backfield in the obvious passing situation. Rams with 4 wide receivers. 3 split out to the left of Chris Chandler in the shotgun. Chandler goes over the middle and has his receiver once again for 10 yards. Jesse Hester again on the sliding catch over the middle. That's another Ram first down as the drive continues.
Yeah, you know, Jesse Hester's really stepped up here and made some big plays. But watch the protection here. This is what allows you as a quarterback to make these kind of plays when you have protection like this. I mean, there's passing legs, he doesn't have anybody in front of him, and he's allowed to see Jesse Hester coming across the middle there.
Hester 4 receptions for 62 yards. Leo Goaz goes out of the game, and Chuck Bellin is now in at right guard for the Rams. Chandler brings him out 1st and 10 on the Los Angeles 45-yard line. Bettis is wide open over the middle and deep into Tampa Bay territory at the 42-yard line. A pickup of 13 yards. Lonnie Marks brought him down, but not after 13 yards on the completion.
Yeah, now watch him. If you can't get the ball to him behind the line of scrimmage, let him get through there and dump it to him across the line of scrimmage, because he can create and do some things once he gets the football, even if it's in the passing game. It's a big guy to tackle there.
1st and 10 for the Rams, who started this drive on their own 20. They're at the Tampa Bay 43-yard line. Drayton in motion to the near side. And Chandler to pass again. That one's incomplete. As Martin Mayhew had good coverage on Todd Kinchin.
Yeah, he sure did. He got his hand right in there and got that ball out of there. That was a nice coverage without playing. Watch down here at the bottom of your screen. Oh, right at you. He's going to come right at you. He's going to plant. And watch, people have been slipping, especially the defensive players, and Martin didn't do that. I think he's got a feel for the turf now and how to sit back on his heel and get a good base and not lean over his toes. Does a nice job of getting the ball out of there.
Second down and 10 for the Rams, and Chandler back to throw once again. Dumps it out to Bettis on the far sideline. Bettis hit hard by Lonnie Marks and Tony Covington after the reception, but he picked yards on the play. That'll set up a 3rd and 4.
And we got some flags back here in the background. Looks like we might have, you know, an illegal chuck or something. Now watch Marty Carter. He's going to come on a blitz. He comes back under, but the offensive lineman does a nice job to tackle and guard there and reading each other and picking that up.
A couple of flags down in the Buccaneers secondary, back at about the 20-yard line, and also one near the left hash mark of the field at about the 25. We'll wait for the call. This is one of the things Chuck Knox was talking about, the conferences going on that bug him so much. If there's a penalty, he'd like to see it called a bit more quickly.
Yeah, he says that one guy calls, and then he gets them all in there and tells him what everybody should have saw.
By the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Now the Buccaneers have moved ahead of the Rams in penalties. Penalty of the game. Sam Weiss has seen his team penalized for 80 yards with the 10 penalties.
Well, let's see how many guys we have here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I always wonder what official is in charge of all that. Does he have to count that every play?
2nd and 5 for the Rams at the Tampa Bay 38. Approaching 5 minutes to go as Chandler to throw again and has Troy Drayton down to about the 30-yard line before Nickerson and Monty Carter bring him down. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the National Football League is prohibited.
I think the Rams abandoned the run here. They've had success with the pass, and they're going to stay with it.
Leo Goaz back in the game at the right guard spot, number 79 for the Rams in the I formation. McGibb is to the first man through Lester, and Lester is met as soon as he gets it. Santana Dotson, one of those in there on the stop, along with Toderick McIntosh and some more extracurricular activity after the play, but the referees break him up. The officials break him up, rather.
Yeah, I think that Tampa's figured that play out. But I got to give the Rams credit for staying with something that's been successful for them.
Approaching the 3:45 mark to go in the game, clock running. The Rams at the Tampa Bay 30-yard line. Trying to get it within field goal range. Kinchin and Brantley in, and the 4 wide receiver set as Chandler works out of the shotgun. Chandler throws Kinchin for a short gain. Kinchin really hit hard by Tony Covington at about the 25-yard line. Short pickup on the play, and it'll set up 3rd down.
Watch Todd Kinchin right here in the slot here. He's going to come across, and actually, Chandler right here, he's just going to come across the ball here, but Chandler wanted to go backside, and he wanted to go over to Johnny Bailey, but he was taken away, and he come back over here to Kinchin.
3rd down and 5 at the 25-yard line of Tampa Bay. Just under 3 minutes to go in the game. Kinchin in motion to the left. Chandler back, and he hits Kinchin again. Kinchin gets it inside the 20 to the 18-yard line before he's brought down by Covington. 6 yards on the play, and another 1st down for the Rams, but a flag on the play in the Los Angeles backfield. Chandler doesn't seem to be in agreement with what the officials saw on that play.
And that usually says one thing. It's against you.
Absolutely.
Holding by the offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
So Leo Goaz returns to the game and immediately gets called for a holding penalty.
Well, scores number 79 they're going to call here. Dotson beats him, and then you can see his right hand. He reaches up there and grabs Dotson, and that's what they call. You've got to keep those hands up inside.
3rd and 15 for the Rams, who had picked up a first down. Chandler will work from the shotgun. Chandler complete to Kenshin. Doesn't have much room after he makes the catch. At about the 32, Roderick Green and Hardy Nickerson bring him down.
Yeah, that when it's 3rd and 15, that's what they like to do. Sit back in the zone and then become hunters, boy. Let them throw the ball underneath and then go hit them.
Tony Zendejas has come on. He'll attempt a field goal from 48 yards. And before he gets the kickoff, we've reached the 2-minute warning.
That's the 2-minute warning.
We'll be back as the Rams attempt to tie it up. The Rams trailing the Buccaneers by 3. 2 minutes left in the game, but Tony Zendejas has come onto the field. He'll attempt a 48-yard field goal to tie it. Zendejas 1 for 3 on attempts from between 40 and 49 yards this season. It's blocked. And the Buccaneers have it. John Lynch caught it off the deflection. Charles McCray came through on the block, and the Buccaneers, special teams and defense, come up big again.
I want you to watch the penetration here. They're going to come through here, but then watch the hands go up in the air. Charles McCray is going to get his hands up in the air, but he gets up there so high, he almost hits him right in the face mask. And this guy's an offensive lineman. One thing about kicks that are of that distance, they've got to be kind of low line drives. And if you get good penetration, your hands up, you got a chance to create the block.
And McCray used all 6'7" to get up there and block that one. A big one for the Buccaneers as Rhett hops through the hole up the middle and gets inside the 45-yard line. 1:46 to go. The Buccaneers still leading by 3.
Now I want you to watch Sam's reaction here. You don't see reaction because of everybody else's reaction. But then he's giving them, come on, come on. He sees he's got the ball. Let's go. That's a calm, cool coach there.
John Lynch, who caught it off the deflection, began to return it. Rams used the timeout there. They have 2 more remaining in the game as the Buccaneers face 2nd and 5 from the Los Angeles 45. 1:46 to go in the game. Moore is in motion, and they give again to Rhett. Was met, and he falls forward. Rams use another timeout. The Buccaneers still with a 3-point lead with 1:40 to go. .142 to play. The Buccaneers leading by 3, and they have the football. Rams have a timeout left, and at the end of this game, Merrill and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. So stay tuned. as the Buccaneers try to run the clock out. 3rd and 5 at the Los Angeles 45. Play clock winding down as Erickson appears to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Play fake to Rhett. Going deep down the middle. Wide open is Charles Wilson. Touchdown, Buccaneers.
Boys, he had a big game.
44 yards on the play. And the Buccaneers go back up by 9.
Yeah, and the Rams had to kind of sell out there. You know, they've got to get to the quarterback, and they put one-on-one coverage. The offensive line has done a tremendous job all game and allowing him the time to find the open receivers. And if you watch the fake, that's up too, because, yeah, the Rams are taking their chances, but they're going to try to stop the run too. That fake right there is going to hold the linebackers and pull them up, and then he's going to let Wilson get ahead of him, and then he does a nice job in leading Wilson out there and letting him catch the ball in stride. Wilson's had a big day.
Call him Charles Big Play Wilson. Michael Hustad's point after is good, and with 1:34 to go, the Buccaneers have reestablished a 10-point lead. They lead the Rams 24-14. Wilson, 4 catches for 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, a career high. So last week they get a career high and a rookie record rushing from Rhett.
Watch
Today,
the top
Charles
here.
Wilson.
Craig Erickson said, you know, we've got to beat one-on-one coverage, and he does. He's got him beat right there, and then Erickson throws a nice ball to keep him in stride. Robert Bailey had him one-on-one there. Wilson just wins the battle.
Erickson,
he picks him up. Get up there.
Erickson told us in meetings earlier this week that he hadn't quite perfected that play fake yet, but he must have faked enough of the Rams on that particular play because Wilson was wide open.
Yeah, I think with that and the Rams trying to sell out to get to the quarterback helps. But watch the top of the screen right here. You get a better look at it. He's just going to come off, beats him across the face, and then there's nobody in the center of the field. Erickson throws the ball out there in front of him, and Wilson just runs right under it.
Charles Wilson looking on as Michael Hustad kicks it deep to Lang and Todd Kinchin, and that one goes out of the end zone for a touchback. And the Buccaneers fans and Charles Wilson excited. They haven't seen a 3-game winning streak by this team since way back in 1982.
Yeah, I think you see it right there. And even though they're not going to playoffs mathematically, yes, they're still in it. But there's almost a playoff atmosphere here. I mean, these people in Tampa Bay, they like their Bucs. They want their Bucs to stay here. And I think the Bucs want to stay here.
Wilson's first 2 touchdown game of his career. Erickson.
They got a nice little helmet imprint on his forehead there.
Obvious passing situation with 1:34 to go. 1st and 10 from their 20. Chandler out of the shotgun. Now it's time to award the Miller Lite Player of the Game, and that is Charles Wilson. 2 big touchdown receptions and numerous big plays today. Charles Wilson, our Miller Lite Player of the Game.
Yeah, and he even did it on special teams too. He did it on special teams. He stepped in. And
Courtney Hawkins went out earlier with the injury, and that created the opportunity, and Wilson rose to the challenge. Chandler. Pass again has Flipper Anderson out to the far side of the field. Appears to be a first down, but we have a flag down back at about the 20-yard line. 1:22 to go in the game. Preliminary signal is against the Buccaneers.
Offsides by the defense. Number 79 lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. 57, correct. Penalty is declined. First down.
Jeff Brady lined up off sides, but the penalty is declined, and the Rams have a first down at the 31-yard line. And Chandler continues the attack from the shotgun. He finds Jesse Hester on the far side of the field. Goes out of bounds right at the marker, right across the 40-yard line. 1:17 left.
You know, the Rams are still swinging too. I mean, one thing that they have not done this whole game is give up. They've continued to play hard. They've put things together when they've been down. They've put points on the board.
First and 10 out at the 41. The Buccaneers showing the three-man front now, and Chandler out of the shotgun again. This time he's met behind the line of scrimmage by Santana Dotson, who gets the sack. Tampa Bay's first sack of the game there as the clock winding to about a minute. Chandler from the shotgun once again. Finds Hester again, who goes out of bounds. Chased out by Roderick Green, about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
You know, when you talk to all of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you talk to them long enough, two things are going to come out of their mouth eventually to describe this team, and that's confidence and belief. These guys believe they can win now. They have the confidence that they can win, and you're starting to see that. They're starting to make plays when they need to make them to win games.
Third down and 1 for the Rams. 58 seconds to go as Chandler again out of the shotgun. He gives to Johnny Bailey. Bailey has first down yardage and more inside the 45 to the 43 of the Buccaneers. Brad Culpepper brought him down there.
I think in a position now they got to throw some deep balls. Chandler has a strong enough arm to go deep.
Going without the huddle. Chandler out of the shotgun. Fires. That one is knocked away at the last second. Martin Mayhew dived in front of Jerome Ross to knock that one away.
You watch Mayhew, I mean, he just sits down and then he really drives on the ball. He just sits back there and drives hard on the ball, gets his hand in there. Martin has done a good job of that all day, of getting his right hand or left hand in there and knocking that ball away.
Second and 10 for the Rams and Chandler. He finds Johnny Bailey, who eludes a tackler and gets out of bounds. He looked like a hurdler on that play.
That's a little abracadabra there. He got it. Where'd he go? Marty Carter's like, I thought I had him. That's one thing that he does well, Johnny Bailey. And you can dump him a 2-yard route, but he can turn it into something. You know, one thing right now, you're going to have to score quick because you need 2 scores to win this game. You only have 28 seconds. You're going to have to go to the end zone now.
Third and 4 for the Rams at the Tampa Bay 38. Chandler going for it all here. Mayhew, a diving effort, looked more like a receiver than a defensive back there, but it's off his hands and incomplete. That'll set up 4th down and 4 to go with 20 seconds to play in the game.
Yeah, I think it's Hail Mary time. You just need to line somebody up and take a shot in the end zone. Watch Mayhew. I mean, he turns from DB corner into wide out and almost makes a great play there.
So a last gasp for the Rams. 4th down, 4 to go. The ball on the Tampa Bay 38. Chandler shotgun. He's going to keep it and slides to safety at about the 30-yard line. And the Rams use their final timeout with 9 seconds to play. Sam Weish witnessing his 3rd straight victory.
Yeah, and I think that the Tampa Bay players and coaching staff, you know, they know about all of the things going around, the sell of the team, where they're going to be. I think the fans, they want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. The coaches want to be here. Talking to Sam yesterday, there's one thing that he said is, you know, I had a 5-year contract because I felt it was going to take 5 years. We're over the hump now. We're starting to reap all the benefits of this hard work, you know, testing players, saying, listen, are you going to show up or you're not going to show up? The people that run and the people that bowl their back, and show up and make plays for them. They've got the kind of players they need to make things successful, and this team is on its way up. Whoever does buy this team, hopefully they will look at that and the way this team is heading and not mess with it too much. Keep the staff and the players intact and let this team continue on its way up.
9 seconds to go. Rams with the ball at the Tampa Bay 31. Chandler out of the shotgun. Hail Mary time to the end zone. Incomplete. And the ball game is over. Tony Covington on the coverage, and Sam Weiss sees his team win its 3rd straight game as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Los Angeles Rams 24-14. Final score again, Tampa Bay 24, the LA Rams 14. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to wrap things up. So for the first time since '82, the Buccaneers have won 3 in a row. For Merrill, Hoge, I'm Eric Clemons saying so long from Tampa Stadium with a final score, the Buccaneers 24, the Rams 14. Don't forget next Saturday, the Fox NFL special. It's that big NFC Central matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. You are watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.